Stand Up.
Hello and welcome to the Christmas Eve episode of Stand Up, and thank you very much for pressing play. Why on earth are you listening to today's show? If you are listening on Christmas Eve, I don't care. I'm psyched to have you. Maybe you're on a trip. Maybe you feel lonely. Maybe you just love the show that much. No matter what, that's why I'm posting it. And it's a good one. Let me tell you, a very special Christmas Eve episode of Stand Up. Joining me today, it's Finnegan, and it's the funniest of all of our conversations. Both Christian and Ophira are absolutely slaying, hilarious in our conversation. That's coming up. No news. I'm going to get right to that. But the special thing is today I'm including our subscriber-only Hangout. Last night and every Thursday night at 8 p.m., we hang out for usually a couple hours. I should probably argue usually maybe a few, sometimes 3 hours. And last night, that was the case. And like 50 amazing things happened. And so I'm trying a new experiment. My brother suggested I do this. He said, why don't you share those Hangouts? And I'm going to make these available probably only to subscribers. And I told everybody I'd be recording it. And I will see. Maybe more of you will want to join these because they are special. There's always amazing moments. And last night was no exception. There were so many amazing moments, like magical, where two very talented musicians just started doing jingles, improvising, where one of the most respected journalists of our time, John Donvan, joined us and told us amazing stories, and where Kerry Williams, who is a longtime listener and subscriber, introduced us to his mom, and he's introduced us to his dad, and then his legendary sister. 3 hours of poignancy, of comedy, of news analysis, and just magic. Just so much fun. A lot of laughs, I guess is what I was going to say. So you're going to get a special treat. I don't know who's listening or why you would listen all 3 hours, but I do think that there's people out there on the road. There's people out there that are lonely, and this might bring you a lot of comfort, that conversation that we had last night. And hopefully you'll maybe consider wanting to join us if you haven't in the past. It was real special. And I'm so excited and so happy about this community. Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you for your support. I really love you and appreciate you. And thank you for joining me whenever you can. And now it's time to get to my conversation with Christian Finnegan and Ophira Eisenberg. Two of the most talented comedians I know. Two of the kindest comedians I know. Super smart, super funny. The three of us are scheduled to do a bunch of dates together in January, but we almost don't want to talk about them because should we? Will they get canceled? Who knows? We cover Christmas, Christmas myths, the Santa, the baby Jesus, and the Omicron variant, and much, much more, as always. And we have a lot of laughs as well. But before that, I'm just going to share with you a clip from Christian's new comedy special because it's very relevant to today, Christmas Eve. And this is from Christian Finnegan's new comedy special, Show Your Work. The bit is titled, Christmas Gifts Can Be Intimidating. This is out. You can go buy it. And then we'll jump into the song written by Gareth Sever and my interview. Follow them both on Twitter. Learn more about both Ophira and Christian in the show notes. I love these two. We had a great time, and they were both so funny. Here we go with the Christmas Eve episode. It's Ophira, it's Christian, and it's over 50 subscribers from our Hangout on Thursday night. Let's do it.
Christmas is a lot of pressure. My wife, every year, like around mid-December, she starts getting extremely excited to tell me about the presents that she has bought me and what she imagines my reaction to them will be. Like, oh, you're going to love what I bought you. I can't wait till you open it. You're going to love it so much. And I start to get like panicked about it. You know what I mean? Like, and I've done it to myself because I'm really good at faking stuff. I fake it, man. Christmas gift reactions are to husbands what orgasms are to wives. Like, sometimes it's real. Sometimes you knock our socks off. But even when you don't, I appreciate the effort. Let's not make this weird. Sometimes you got to pull the old Meg Ryan. But thanks for the snorkel. I never know if I'm done buying Christmas presents because my wife is so excited about what she's got me. I'm always like, I guess I got to go buy more stuff. I end up buying like 50 gifts. Like, I have all feature acts, no headliner. Like, I I get so jealous when I see those car commercials where like a guy leads his wife out and opens her eyes and there's like a Lexus in the driveway because he's done. He's done. That's it. No stocking stuffers for that guy. I cannot afford to buy my wife a Lexus. I'm not entirely sure I can afford to buy her the giant bow they put on top of it. Like, does it have to be real velvet or can we go synthetic on this? Maybe that's what I'll do next year, is I'll just lead my wife outside and be like, don't look, and I'll open her eyes. There'll just be a giant bow on our 2009 Honda Fit.
Christian, Ophira, Finnegan, Christian, Finnegan. However you slice them up, you get a different word. If you say it fast enough, you clearly sound absurd. When you say it louder, it sounds like they're real words. Christian, Ophira, Finnegan, Christian, Finnegan. I don't think you're ready for what you haven't heard from Christian, Ophira, and Pete.
All right, let's just pretend it played. There it goes. For those of you who don't know, I don't know how to press buttons and make things work. That's why I don't do a live.
That's what your wife said.
Oh!
I didn't even know what...
Oh, I like you said buttons.
Yeah, multiple. She has multiple.
By the way, I'm just going to start Blue, because I was leafing through a book of old jokes, some of them that I've never tried on stage, and I found something I wrote that was like, this just in, men have a G-spot, and I was like, I don't care. That was the end of the joke. I was like, I'll care once the patriarchy tumbles. Then I'll care about the male G-spot.
Yeah, when gender roles switch. What's that?
Yeah, I don't care.
Men have a G-spot. It's called the garage because that's the only place we can get any privacy. Am I right? My man cave.
That's funny that you mentioned gender roles, because my wife during this conversation just texted me and said the car battery is dead. Can you come fix it? I'm like, oh, maybe you fix it yourself, lady. Oh.
See, that's so funny. I heard garage and I was like, maybe one day I'll afford a house with a garage.
Can you imagine? So it's just an entire house for your car? What?
Yeah. And if you want, you can like set up a bar in there and stuff.
Yeah. You can go out there and look at pornography or whatever.
You could
do in their garages, I assume.
If you had if you had a one car garage, you could like take like a quarter of it and put a radio studio in there that doesn't think of adding ventilation.
Right.
And then almost die several times until you upgraded to a shed.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like we're talking about ourselves, and other times just society at large.
Yeah, it depends who's listening and what they're hearing.
What is society other than a collection of individuals?
That's right.
It's just us.
Yeah, just us.
We are the icons of society, the three icons of society.
Yes, we are the three archetypes.
And I think we've got all demographics covered between the three of us.
Pretty much.
Yep.
The whites.
Different shades of white.
Jewish.
Jewish. Wow, that's always been my difference.
A lady and Christian.
And a lady. I like a lady.
And a
lady. Jewish first, though, let's be honest.
Is that right? You identify first. Oh. Okay.
Did you guys have the discussion or see the stuff about how gingerbread men, we have to call that? There's like a thing.
Person.
Yes.
Yeah. I think from what I could tell, it was like literally one bakery that had a gingerbread person, and then some conservative dude took a picture of it, and basically it was,
well, I don't know much about the story or the delicate delight, but I'm guessing that like it's always been promoted by the people who sell gingerbread mix. Make gingerbread ladies and gingerbread little kids and gingerbread dogs. Like, I'm sure there's gingerbread everything.
There is.
Yeah.
And you know what? If all gingerbread was they, them, I'm cool with it.
Oh, that's not me. Not me. I want specific species of gingerbreads.
You want binary gingerbread?
Non-binary gingerbread person. So, speaking of holiday stuff.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. This is posting on Christmas Eve.
So if you're listening to it, you're weird. No, I'm sorry your family stopped talking to you.
or you've made the decision. That's even better.
I kind of feel like
I'm just going to go in my room and let's do a podcast.
You know, me kind of like, you know, always positive spin. I kind of feel like, or if you're listening to it now on Christmas Eve, you're welcome because you needed to do something to escape from your family. You clearly you're escaping from your family.
Yes.
And you've chosen us.
That's right.
You could be driving. You could be on the way to grandma's house, I suppose. Your Christmas Eve tradition.
Over the river and through the woods.
Yeah.
To the jerk shed we go.
That's my song. Speaking of songs, Christian Finnegan has put out his top 50.
I put out. I released it. It dropped.
He released 50 new songs. His selections for top 50 songs of 2021.
Can't wait.
And he also made me a birthday mix, which it's been a game changer. I've very much enjoyed it. I don't know how to find music. And Christian asked me what I like, and he made me a thing. So go check out his Spotify. His list. I like it.
Seriously, if I could just make people like playlists for a living, like if that's just could be my job, I would drop comedy so fast.
Yeah.
My birthday's on January 2nd. Can I have a playlist?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
If you wanted to do a thing, like if you ever wanted to run any sort of like Patreon, Pete, or some sort of charity drive or something
to make money.
Or whatever. I would gladly, like if somebody wanted to donate to some charity of your choice, an X amount of dollars, I would happily.
Why don't you
make
just take the money?
That's a great idea.
That's cool, but I kind of want to be like Venmo Christian $10. Tell him what you like, and he'll make you a playlist or whatever you decide the price is on.
How about this? They just send him 10 cents per song, and that's more than Spotify pays the artist.
That's right. Yes, that feels right. To not pay the artist, pay the person making the playlist.
Yes. Well, isn't that?
It's a political statement. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
That is a good point. That's a good point. Okay. So yeah, I like that idea, and I'm sure people listening will want. They're going to want some. They're going to want some. So totally. Christmas. It's Christmas Eve, and when I was a little boy, I really liked this. I got super excited. I loved the concept of Santa coming in the house. I tried to catch him in the middle of the night. Yeah, try to stay
How
up.
do you catch him?
And then what? Put him in a big cauldron, like
Hansel and Gretel or whatever.
Yeah, or old movies about like island savages.
No,
where
I didn't want to. Jesus, no, I didn't want to kill or eat him.
Gilligan's Island. That kind of thing?
I just wanted to say hi. I was a little boy.
Catch him is it's a weird way to say that. To catch him.
He's
like a giant
around.
dog catcher's net.
He's sneaking around. You're right. No, sneaking around.
You're acting like you've never heard of a kid wanting to catch Santa, and while he's doing his thing, he's sneaking in. You catch him, and then I think maybe the ambition is that to prove that he's real.
Maybe I could see all right. It's just a weird catch. Seemed like a weird choice of words to me.
But the weird, when I was young and believed in the thing, we did not have a chimney, so we were told he just came right in the front door, which is kind of weird. It wasn't as magical. I felt
takes the drama out of it. Yeah.
So I told my son, he's 6. I told him last year that Santa was just his parents, and which I think was fine because we're Jewish. And then, but we're doing the Christmas thing, and he has decided this year that Santa's real. He's like, Santa's real, Mom.
Yeah. I know. I don't know if I was like that, but I certainly knew kids who just refused to accept that. That's real.
But he was like, I want Aikido warriors or whatever, and I was like, okay. So, and he said this. So email Santa.
So wait, you told your son the truth, and then
69@gmail.com.
You told your son the truth, and then he bought the lie. You know who that sounds like, right?
QAnon?
Yeah.
I've got a Q kid.
Mm-hmm. Just start calling him Q.
I tried doing a bit about this a long time ago. I found out that there was no Santa Claus. And then for whatever reason, for an entire year, I still believed there was an Easter Bunny. Like that's a weird space to be in, where it's like, Santa Claus, that's absurd. I mean, Easter Bunny, that's just nature.
Because it's an animal. I've seen a bunny.
Yeah.
We all know rabbits love chocolate.
Eggs.
Yeah, that is weird. That is weird because when I remember, and I did this, and my daughter did this, but I asked my mom, "Is Santa real?" And I'll never forget it because she was in the bathroom, like on the toilet, and she answered me. She like yelled. She didn't have like, I'll be right out. She just she yelled no. And then she said, and don't forget
so traumatizing.
She said, don't forget you have your 5-hour driving course this afternoon. But anyway.
How old were you?
I was old. So
16?
No, I was like maybe 11 or 12. But so then I just,
what?
I was joking about the driving course.
Yeah. I love that. That was great. That was great. That's the mastery right there. That's how I know you do stand up.
So then I asked immediately.
It's always great when you tell a joke and two other comedians have to clarify that it wasn't actually. That's always the sign.
Yeah, that we take it at face value, question it.
I don't perform as much as you guys, okay?
Clearly.
So I immediately asked about the Easter, and when my daughter asked, she did the same thing. She said Santa, and then she immediately asked about the Easter. Unfortunately, my wife wasn't with us when she asked, and I gave her both answers, and boy, did I get in a lot of hot water for not waiting for Mom to deal with that.
Right,
I was in trouble. That was a bad one.
Yeah, I just said to my son I wasn't ready to, because then he asked me, he was like, Santa is real, right? Then he wanted me to be part of his lie. And I said, well, I just don't think it's one person.
Oh, you think there's a whole Santa consortium?
Yeah, that's so, because he wasn't able to just accept that the answer is no. But I was like, I just don't think it's one person, because like, how could one person do all of that? And he was like, Mom, it's not one person. There's elves. Yeah.
Actually, I think Santa was a comedian because only a comedian would wait until the last night to hit every single house. To procrastinate that much, like, oh fuck, I got to do this all tonight.
It's just and it's a comedian because he knows how to do spots, right? Just like let's
exactly.
go. We're just doing spots.
Yeah. Just jumping in the cab, just right.
Yeah, exactly.
So one Christmas,
free food. Do you guys offer free food? Drink tickets?
Milk and cookie tickets. Do you guys have milk and cookie tickets?
That is how he gets paid, I think.
Pretty much.
So the one Christmas morning when I was about 12 or 13, I was still, while I don't think I bought the Santa myth anymore, I did say that morning, I said, before we started opening presents, I said, let's not forget what we're celebrating. And I said out loud, I'm not joking at all. I said, the birth of Christ.
The reason for the season.
And my brother, who like stopped with all that, religion when he was like 8. He was way beyond me, still is, light years ahead of thinking. He just was like, just shook his head and like, can we get to these presents? And then my parents were like, that's whatever, because they weren't religious really either. I don't know what I was doing at that point. But that's the other thing I wanted to unpack. I just saw an inflatable nativity scene. And it's just every time I think about the story that we are to believe about the virgin birth, I start laughing. I can't. It's bizarre. And this week on Fox News, apparently, Brian Kilmeade actually said that the reason for the animals in the manger were to breathe their warm breath and keep baby Jesus warm. He said it.
Oh, no,
really?
They're just warming him up before eating a spare baby that has been left in a thing of, hey, delicious food.
Well, and it's also the animals were in the manger because that's where they live.
Yeah, that was their house.
Yeah.
Do you think of anything but the baby Jesus when you hear the word manger? By the way.
Oh, right, like it's not that other manger story.
Yeah, manger is just a fancy word for barn.
Okay, right. So what
a barn,
biblical barn.
Could we quickly get
my
to
favorite Bible store?
What the both of you believe is the origin?
Discount Bibles?
Yeah, biblical barn. I got to swing by the biblical barn.
30% off King James.
So, I talking to Julia the other day. We drive by an inflatable nativity thing, which, by the way, again, it just seems so blasphemous because when that deflates, everybody Jesus and they're just like dead parachute,
shrunken head Jesus,
right? Shrunken head Jesus. So I tried to explain to Julia. I go, I just the whole story. I go, what do you think, Jewel? She's 14. I go, the virgin birth, and she came to a similar conclusion that a lot of people come to. I'm like, I think that lady just didn't want to lie about having sex at that time. Isn't
You're like, do you have anything to tell me, Julia?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, is there any other?
Right.
It's not.
Right. She was like, no, I'm still a virgin.
I mean,
nope,
it's
still
entirely
virgin.
possible. Like we're assuming that she was lying to Joseph. It's entirely possible that they were lying to everyone because they were not married, or
Right.
you know what I mean. That it was like that they said, "Oh yeah, God did it," because you know. So we're assuming that Mary was lying to Joseph. It's not entirely possible that Joseph was in on the scam.
No, I think it just shows how little men knew historically about women's reproductive, what it is to reproduce or anything about women's bodies. They were just like, oh yeah, virgin birth. All right. Yeah, as true as possible. She's a chick. I don't know. It's like weird stuff down there.
And I'd be curious to know how far after the sort of hubbub around JC developed. Was his virgin birth a thing from the beginning, or is that sort of retroactively, like 100 years later, like, oh yeah, and by the way, he's born from God too?
Oh, like one precocious child was like, excuse me.
Yeah, but they weren't married.
How's it possible?
Yeah.
They're like,
exactly.
virgin birth. You know, Santa Claus, virgin birth. I don't know.
Wait a second. I would like to hear more from the precocious child, if possible, Ophira. What else did he?
Does this precocious child have a name, first of all?
Dwight.
Jesus.
Oh, okay. He was precocious. Well,
that's what Jesus sounds like.
Yeah, because so the manger, the whole thing happened. I'm the savior.
That's, I don't know.
But in Aramaic, yeah.
So the whole desert thing happens, the birth and all the. But the story didn't get told for like a few hundred years more, I think. Isn't that the deal? Like, it didn't get written down. And so
yeah, I mean, I don't go around knowing what people's birth story is. Right. You know what I mean? So it like, I don't think people are like, oh, hey, this is Jesus Christ. This is Jesus of Nazareth. His mom had sex with God. Like, I don't think that was probably part of the mythology from the jump. I imagine. Did I just say from the jump? I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Fine.
I think it was retroactively added.
So they were like watching this like hot 17-year-old guy like part some water, and they were like, what do we know about this guy? Can anyone do some fact checking? What do we know about this guy?
That's Moses. Who's part of the water. Jesus didn't do it.
Yeah, I think you're...
Wait a second. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what did Jesus do again? Yeah, led some people.
Yeah, water into wine.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Water into wine. Part water, water into wine. That's it.
Died for your sins also.
The sins of the world, you know.
Yeah.
Only died for your sins and
not
whatever.
Me, not mine.
Yeah, you may not think so.
Who's Q now?
But he did.
Oh.
Well, I'll convert you by the time this conversation's over. Blood of Jesus, body of Christ. And then they hand you
My
away.
uncle was a priest, and we would have to do mass on Christmas and all the holidays, like in my grandmother's living room.
Ooh.
Like the 8 of us, or whatever, 12 of us. And my cousins and I would have to do the readings, like,
this is a letter from Paul to the Episcopalians.
And it was, it did not do anything to turn me on to religion. Let's put that
right.
way.
You were like, this is so great. I feel connected.
I need more of this in my life.
I know, Christian, you know this. That when I went to a mall when I was a child to go see Santa, that I told him I was Jewish, and he told me he was too, and to be quiet about it.
That's
right. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That happened.
Yeah. And then I told all my friends that Santa was Jewish because I told my mom that, and my mom justified it by saying, well, of course, who else do you think works on Christmas?
Oh, that is so great. I had a Santa just whisper what asked me my number was, which I thought.
Oh, that seems inappropriate.
I was like, he needs to look up the address to walk in the door.
Yeah, I was like, don't you already know it's Santa? And then he brought me into the back room. I mean, I did always think
you were
like
upgraded to the super naughty list.
Well, they do have to. Isn't it true that they have to like be very well vetted? Like, what could be a more like putting children on your lap? Like that's a lot of background checks. I'm not trying to be funny. I mean, like that's got to be does anybody know anybody who's ever gone through that process? It's got to be fairly rigorous, I would imagine. You don't want to get.
I have a bad feeling that it's not rigorous at all.
I think you might be way overestimating corporate responsibility, Pete.
But I know, I mean, I can't speak for all of the United States, but I do know that there's no more sitting on laps. And this year there was, I think it was in front of glass.
Yes, that
you could paw at the plexiglass between you and Santa.
Right. Yeah. The last couple years, I haven't heard anybody talking about that. Of course, you couldn't go sit on Santa's lap. I don't know any, maybe people with little kids. That's, well, that's sad for them, I suppose. Or awesome. A new tradition.
Fine.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
Yeah. I think it probably will kill it because even if / when we get past COVID, I don't see it coming back.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, remember last year when you just talked to Santa? This year you're going to go sit in his lap. Like as a kid, I'd be like, no. Like you've got to get kids suckered into that from an early age.
That's right. Yeah. And the big line and the whole thing. I mean, I feel like some of these things that we've agreed to that maybe first it was cute, then it was this, and then it just becomes this garbage 2 days of your life that you have to plan where you're going to see Santa and they gouge you for 9,000 photos and all that. I mean, that whole thing is stupid.
Yeah,
no.
If you try to take your own photo with your iPhone, the adult elves like stand in front of you. They're, whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
We're the ones...
It's not this Santa. No, not this Santa.
You need $12 to do that, pal.
Dude, that is hilarious to imagine. That is such a brilliant and thoughtful thing. Like, if you get used to just any other type of meeting Santa, you can't go back to, now you're going to sit on that dude's lap. Like, kids will be like, what the? No. What are you? That's weird. That is hilarious.
I know that guy.
It's so often, I mean, and I guess this is true of every tradition, but it's like, is this for the kid or is this for the parents who enjoyed it when they were kids? And so they feel like they want it to mean something for them to see their kid be on Santa's lap.
Right.
I don't think the kid gives two shits.
And like a check mark. It's some sort of check mark of like, well, we did that. That was Christmas.
Do you guys have any ethical issues with lying to your kids about such myths to begin with? My brother always, disapproved of us doing that. But I say it's the one that's worth it. The Santa one and the Easter Bunny, those are fun. Tooth Fairy is fun. When Ava found, she put a tooth under her pillow. And when she picked up the pillow, she used to love these little fairy action figures. And she picked up the pillow and there was one of those there. And she came out ghost-faced and she just like had barely any breath. And she just said to Val, the tooth fairy's still here.
Oh,
that felt
horrible.
Yeah. A little weird. But what about the lie?
Yeah, I mean, I tried not to lie, and then I was basically told by my child that there will be lying going forward. So I've
lied to my kids their entire lives by telling them they don't exist. But
that's good.
Yeah, can't wait for your Christmas present. Hi, Dad. I'm 10 years old. You don't remember that night, do you?
God bless that. I would love that. Oh my God, I'd get a pilot out of it.
We're not supposed to be together. Roll the camera.
It's almost like I'm a fish out of water.
It's almost like a stranger came to town.
I hope it happens for you, buddy.
Hey, so any girl I dated in late 90s who has a kid that they want to foist on me, I'm ready to take on the mantle as a deadbeat.
Wow. And okay, and the lines are open.
Will you on the air now is I was going to say an ethnic name, something that couldn't possibly be your child, but they want the deal.
Like they want the deal.
What it is, I think, is you were going to say an ethnic child's name, and then you realize anything I say right now could be offensive, so I'm gonna pull back off this.
Well,
one.
I was going to say I know a Chinese woman named Ching Peng Pong. I know her, but then it was but
it's really hard.
I'm not part of, just so your listeners know, I'm not part of this conversation.
It is hard, to pretend that you don't find certain Asian names funny. Because when I was a kid, it was just like, that was just hilarious. I mean, it's just hilarious. And I understand all the reasons why that stuff needs to go into the dustbin of history, but it doesn't stop me from remembering that my freshman college roommate was named Hung How Long. Like that doesn't.
No,
yes. Yes, it was. Yeah. Hung How Long.
And the answer is?
I don't know.
Then you were roommates.
We weren't really good friends. He would play "You Look Wonderful Tonight" by Eric Clapton every night in our dorm room, and I grew to hate that song with a burning passion.
That's an amazing, if true, story, and also
while looking at the longest.
If
there's a question. There's a question mark.
Yes.
If we can find him, and get him on, that'd be amazing. But one of my good friends, college roommate, before we, how they tell you who your roommate is back 100 years ago, and you can't they just tell you. It's not like his roommate was, I guess it might be Vietnamese because the last name was NG. And he was like, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I don't know how to pronounce. Like, what am I supposed to say? It's just 2 letters. Is it NG? What do I do? And we just laughed. Turns out they became really good friends and stuff. But it was we had no idea what to do with that because we didn't know anybody ethnic at all. And if we did, they were adopted. So,
yeah. So you're not a big Asian community up in Syracuse.
Marcellus, outside Syracuse.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
actually. Sorry.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. So even more of a shithole is what you're saying.
Well, it was right near Skaneateles, which is really nice and even wider. So here's the question, though, that remains in our time that we have to discuss. I think is another Christmas in a row where. We are not able to do things that we want to do and be with people we want to be, or are we, if we're super vaxxed? And so also we've got gigs coming up together and apart, and we don't know. We were talking about before we got on the mic. It's like how do we promote these? Like, is it weird? Is it inappropriate to promote them?
Right. Well, I think everyone can be like, wouldn't it be great to go to a show in the middle of January? Will it happen? I don't know.
Yeah. So,
but please come.
But also please come. And if you have your tickets, nothing much we can do about that. We'll see you there.
So have you guys changed plans?
So, I will say I'm in Victoria, BC right now, seeing my sister. I got here about a week ago. I was supposed to go on a ferry to Vancouver yesterday to see some other family, which also meant staying at a hotel and going to their house. And that family, which is also my family, we had discussions and then we just decided it was just too much. In British Columbia, where I am, they are really doing some pretty heavy duty shutdowns here. I don't think they're doing any in New York, right?
No, we're not communists.
Not official.
We're not
not mandated, because God forbid, then they'd have to pay people. So
we're not socialists.
So gyms and I think live events are closed. Bars are talking about. So we canceled it. And then my niece, who was one of the people we were going to see, just sent me an email today saying that her son tested positive today. And I thought, oh my God, I was justifying yesterday how we should just do this. It's totally fine. But then we just decided to cancel. And if I would have done it, we would have got it. I mean, we're vaxxed and everything, but we would have been exposed. So there would be a question.
Yeah, we were supposed to go, and I don't get back to Massachusetts, where my family is from, too often, but we were going back this year, and my cousin, we were going to go to her house for Christmas, and she is an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah.
And I may have spoken about this before, but she's a sweetheart, but she's like an anti-vaxxer from the left. She's like a yoga teacher in one of those.
Oh, yeah. Like her body's a temple kind of thing.
Yeah. And just has all these.
A Buddhist temple, as it turns out, which is even worse.
Yeah. But just all that crap. And so I told, and this was 2 weeks ago, even kind of before Omicron, went global. I basically said, first of all, I don't think it's safe. Cambry recovering from cancer. I had heart surgery. We're just not going to come. But also, it's I'm not going to resent someone in their own house. You know what I mean? I can't be in your home.
Can we please print out those T-shirts for our tour? I'm not going to resent someone in their own house.
That is really
I think it's a good policy.
That's
a good
great.
rule of thumb.
That's great. What a waste of everything.
Yeah. So, but now, of course, now it's now it would just be absurd to go. I mean, and she has 2 children. It's a shitty situation.
Yeah.
Really.
But, so I'm going to see my dad. I waited 5 hours at Mount Sinai day before yesterday, waiting for PCR test, and but came back negative, so I feel like I'm good to go. But yeah, so it's like I'm gonna go see my dad, and then Cambry and I are gonna like go do like the Freedom Trail and do touristy history crap.
Great.
Awesome.
Great.
Outdoor stuff.
Not that anybody asked, but we
I asked. What about you?
My turn. We
edit this in reverse. How about you?
We didn't have
to Pete, we want to hear what you're up to.
We didn't have to change any plans because we don't have people. No, my parents are coming down, and those
are people. I don't even have those people.
Yeah, my parents are coming down,
people.
And that's it. And so they're the question. What I'm dealing with right now is I have 2 teenage girls who love making out, and I said, can you not make out with your current boyfriend and with the other one, the new guy, till Sunday? Can you just hold off making out? Like, if you want to get COVID, I just don't want you to get COVID and give it to your grandparents. Could you just wait a couple days? And then Jules like, can I have a New Year's Eve party? And I'm like, that's probably a bad idea. And then a friend goes, let her have it. Whoever she's going to invite, the odds are, at the rate we're going, 2 of them are not going to be able to come because they're going to have COVID. So like, it's going to get canceled. Like, everything's going to get canceled, it would seem, is a lot of the consensus I'm hearing. Of course, we're 3 people that are talking in New York, where it's really picking up faster than other places, but that's because we're always first. They'll get theirs.
I know. And so I also, can't they just make out through saran wrap? I think that'd be hot.
I suggest, but I suggested that even without COVID.
I don't know. Like, the kids might, just need some
through saran wrap. That's creepy. That is some Dexter type shit.
Yeah, don't put it too much in your face. Anyhow, I'm just giving them alternatives. Yeah, you can make out. So what, a dental dam? I've never actually seen a dental dam.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
I think that they were. I don't think that they exist.
That was a myth.
I'm a dental dam.
Like the male
denier.
G-spot. Yeah.
Dental.
Okay, good.
Dental dam denier. All right, well, I guess that's all. I mean, I want to talk to you guys for like 3 more hours, but Ophira before is like, listen, it's going to be tough. I got to be I'm with my family. I'm sneaking out.
I mean, like, they're literally clawing at this faux French door. My son,
by the way,
looks at me.
Isn't that area where you're at, Victoria, British Columbia, one of the most beautiful places on earth?
It truly is.
Yeah, that's nice.
It truly is.
Nice to be there.
And we, it's raining a lot of the time, but whatever. We went for a walk near the beach, and it's just so funny hearing people's complaints here because it's gorgeous. And they're like, yeah, the tide's a little high. I'm like, all right, it's fine.
You'll survive.
Hey, Queens is very beautiful too.
It's true. This time of year.
Oh, this time of year in Queens. Oh, God. It's
gorgeous.
Just Ansel Adams.
But I'm also wearing a fleece and a hat because everyone keeps their house at, like 60 degrees.
Yeah. That's the same with our house here, which is why I live in a shed, because it's got I can control the heat. I have to wear a hat inside it. As a bald American, you don't know. The head gets really cold when you get down below 60 something, whatever, in my house. Nobody cares. My daughters walk around in blankets, those blankets with sleeves, and the
blankets.
Fleece. Yes, they have those, very thick, and they just look like giant triangles all summer, all winter.
Giant triangles.
Yeah.
I walk around in one of those old timey like purple velvet king robes, with the sort of with the fur sort of collar, just long drapery, just waltz around the apartment like that.
The one that you wore during your special?
Which I mean,
of course.
That would be great if you dressed as a king.
Just
for your comedy special.
For what it's worth, that's how I imagine you.
And then nothing underneath. What?
Yes.
All right.
All right,
always
folks.
In the gutter.
Merry Christmas. Thank you for joining me. That was really fun and funny. I love you guys. And hopefully we'll be able to circle back next week.
Bye, guys. Happy
holidays.
All right,
we'll be there. Have a good one, everybody.
Noodles. And there they go. Merry Christmas from Christian and Ophira. What'd I tell you? Wasn't that great? Wasn't that funny? You have a lot of laughs? Make you think? Hopefully. I certainly enjoyed it. Man, do I love hanging out with them. Those two kill me. So much fun. Please follow them, support them, and wish them a Merry Christmas on social media today. All right, well, coming up right now, it's our Hangout from last night. 3 hours. I just decided I told everybody I was recording it, and there were amazing moments, as I told you at the top of the show. And I think I don't know if you're going to like this. I really want your feedback. Does anybody listen to this? Does it make you feel less alone and entertaining and just this thoughtful group of brilliant people weighing in on all these different issues? We got health correspondents, we got justice correspondents, political correspondents, and John Donvan, who drops in, and just amazing groups of people. And we had a lot of fun, including from my old high school buddy, Brian Castor. I mean, there's just so many things that happened. John Carroll sang, Garrett Sever. We debut the Bill B and DC song by Garrett Sever. So many things happen in this. If you like the show even a little bit, I think you're really going to like this Hangout. So here it is. It's an experiment. It's 3 hours. In 2 hours in, John Donvan comes in. I don't know what else to tell you. This is our Hangout with over 50 people from last night. By the way, is Gareth Sever here yet? Is he coming? I just asked him. Actually, just texted Gareth Sever. Said, hey, man, are you coming by? Because I want to debut your new song for everybody. And he texted me back. This is what he wrote. I don't know who this is. I was like, I thought we had my number. But, yeah, so he wrote a song. If he comes by, we'll play it. You can't play it without him. But he wrote a song for Bill Boyle. And then, Bill, you didn't even know that. You reached out to Pete Coe and thanked him. And Pete Coe's like, don't know what you're talking about. I did not write a song for you, and I never would.
Yeah, that was a pretty classy move on my part, definitely. To go to the wrong guy and say, good job. Yeah.
All right, well, let's see. What do we got? All right, should we wait another minute or two before I make my big announcement, which is not a big announcement. I just want to say, like, hey, and I'm going to record it. Yesterday I had a long talk with my big brother. He's like, dude, how are you not recording the Zoom Hangouts, which are magical and hilarious, and sharing them at least with subscribers as a bonus? And I'm like, oh my God, I really haven't. And I think the main reason was because I thought if I hit record and I told you I hit record, people might feel more inhibited or something. But, so I'm going to give it a shot, because I think one of the big, amazing, I certainly didn't intend this, but amazing things about this community and how it's grown and how these Hangouts have been is how much fun, how many laughs there are, and how much magic and honest and open conversations there are between strangers. There's something that makes, obviously you feel very safe in this space. And so I'm going to record it. And if we have those magical moments, I can edit it in. If anybody says anything that they wouldn't want me to share, you can always let me know. But yeah, I want to share these with at least with subscribers, and maybe with everybody else, which makes them want to hang out with us, because as we head into the fourth wave or whatever the hell we're at with Omicron, and start to, many of us, depending on who you are, debatable, you start to draw in again, and at least for the next few weeks or whatever, and at the holidays, you get that same feeling that you first had. Maybe not. We're a little less scared, maybe, I hope, because we know a lot more, but it still sucks. And so here we are on virtual Hangouts, canceling our plans potentially or not. And tomorrow we're supposed to go into New York City. We do every once in a while. We don't have a very consistent tradition, but Val loves going in on Christmas Eve and having dinner in New York on Christmas Eve. We've done it 2 or 3 times, and she still wants to, and I don't, because it's got the highest rate in the country, and my parents are coming the next day. But I might compromise and we don't go to dinner. We just stay outside and run around Central Park. But it's like, Val's like, why would we cancel? I was like, same reason everybody's canceling, at least, because my parents are coming. So anyway, it's a bit of an argument, and we'll see what happens. But folks, I'm just psyched to see you and happy to have you all here. And I hope to have some laughs tonight, tell some stories. I'm going to hang out for probably, I usually think like, I'll be here for 2 hours. And then at like 2 a.m, I'm fucking just like barely clinging to my chair and being beaten and laughing my ass off still. So it's always fun. Bronwyn, I see you. Judy. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Thursday night hangout. Thank you very much for being here. I have a lot of things I want to ask, a lot of ideas, but as you know, there's no rules. Anything can happen. Gareth Sever just texted me as he's showing up. Okay, he says he's about to come. So cool. So Bill, don't go anywhere. We'll debut that song. And also, I want to ask you about Russia because it seems, unfortunately, you are looking to be right, Deersky.
Sadly.
Yeah. What do we got? What are we planning? January 10th for the war? European. Well, hold on. Let's not do war. Let's not do war yet. We'll wait.
Okay.
You know what? I'll even when Gareth gets here, Joe's laughing. When Gareth gets Joe, thank you for wearing your LL Bean hunting jacket, Leota. Yeah.
Not only that, he's drinking Japanese whiskey.
Oh, no way.
Nice.
I have. That's what
well done.
I had that.
He's got the hibiki.
Well done.
It's real good
Fuck
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, it goes down easy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wait.
That's exactly the whiskey I put up on internet today.
I want similar credit.
I've got some Nika downstairs, too.
Nika makes an amazing gin as well. Ooh, you got the
nice. Toki. Yeah, okay.
Suntory in the house.
Jim Bunn, do you want to share anything? He's been sober for like 30 years.
Turn your sound on, buddy.
He loves when we talk. He wants to talk more about alcohol, I think.
About what?
Do you do you want to do an alcohol segment for a while? I know that's why you showed.
Yeah, I don't care. Go ahead.
I'm joking. I don't want to do any more alcohol, but I will have some. It's good to see you, buddy. I really am happy to see you here tonight. How you feeling?
Yeah, hanging in there.
Well,
had some heart issues, but I'm 65 and smoked for 40 years. So
Jim's lived hard. Jim, when we broadcasted in downtown Detroit, this dumb idea, like when I think back to that, Jim, like the Sirius XM sent us to Detroit for the car show because they have, deals with all the car manufacturers, thought it would be a good idea. It was February in Detroit. And to walk from building to building, you were freezing your ass off. It was like 2. And they had us broadcasting outside, under like a tent. They had heaters, but it was freezing. Former Mayor Dave Bing came, and he's like 75 years old. And he was sitting there. You remember this, Jim? He froze solid, and his arm broke off, and it was cold. Anyway, Jim, Richard Lewis is like, I'm not sure that happened. Jim anyway picked me up and brought me to the airport that day, and it was just the best thing. I've been talking to him for years, and then and I was like, hey man, can you just give me a lift to the airport? I'll get the fuck out of here. And anyway, we've been friends ever since. So it's great to see you and everybody. And Gareth Sever just showed up, and I want to have some fun tonight. But let's get the hard stuff out of the way, which is I really want to talk to Bill. I want to let Bill do his thing on Russia because I think it's super important. I'm going to record it and then maybe play it. But here's the other the fun thing: Gareth Sever. Buckets and boards. There he is, the green shirt down there. You see him, Gareth. Put your mic on, Gareth, because we're going to debut the Bill Boyle song for the lucky people who decided to show up tonight. And we'll let Bill talk a little bit. So, but do you want to say anything about this song? And you put a lot of work into all of your jingles. Do you want to set this up at all? Why write a jingle for Bill Boyle? Isn't he a pretentious enough prick? Do we have to give him a song?
I think sometimes that's exactly why you have to do that, because it's exactly
Thanks for not disagreeing.
All right, well then, anything else, or should I hit play?
Guys to listen to, man. I think I wrote to him. He wrote me on Twitter. It said, "Hey, thanks for my jingle, man." And I was like, "Well, I felt he deserved one because there's been many times where when he's been on, I'm like, this is good stuff." And especially a year ago around January 6th, I was like, I want to hear what Bill B has to say about this. And it was kind of comforting. It was kind of like somehow it made me feel like a little more okay with, figuring it all out.
Yeah, I think that's a great way of talking about Bill. And I know him really well. He's a close personal friend of mine. And he, when I first lost my job, he peeled me off the ground more than a few times. And so, ladies and gentlemen,
wait. I will precursor, since you gave me the opportunity to set it up. I usually run by, I'll do a recording of it, and then I'll make one of my kids or my wife listen to it. And and she said, "Oh, don't rhyme inside with inside." That makes sense. Or she thought the second line was kind of dumb.
All right, don't over-explain it. Nobody gives a shit.
Dude, judge for yourself.
Dude, you're so good. You're like one of those people who like overthinks it because he's really good. Like the rest of us will be like, "That's awesome," and your wife, listen, it's your wife.
She's good ideas.
I'm sure she has good ideas, but listen, she's probably hard to
with a folksy vibe. It turned into like a folksy kind of,
all right,
Pete Seeger kind of feel for some reason, and I went with it.
How about the fact that I tried to put down his wife and he pushed back? Okay, so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. He is the chief Washington correspondent. Stand Up with Pete Dominic. It's Bill Boyle, and here is the great jingle written by Gareth Severin. Gareth, put all your social media in the chat so everybody can follow you and watch you, because he's a super talented percussionist and performer. Here we go.
Bill B. in D.C. Bill B. in D.C. He's a D.C. insider's insider. He runs parking garages, and you can park inside there. He's got an opinion on everything. Well, that's kind of his thing, but he backs it up with a mountain of knowledge. I would bet he even went to college. He does the research nobody else wants to do, and he presents it all to me and you. Bill B. in D.C.
All right.
It feels like my very own special, or my very own like Captain Kangaroo theme song, right? Or maybe, right, like an early 70s, late 60s kids show.
Let's be honest.
Like a creepy kids show.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. Let's
be honest. Take a look at your life. You've had a good life. You've done a lot of great things. You have a beautiful family.
Very lucky.
Most importantly, a beautiful family, an extended family. But this is quite a high honor to have someone write.
This is a moment.
What do you want to say to Gareth?
I'm touched. A little creeped out. I don't know. I mean, it is an incredibly kind thing you did, Gary. I'm sorry that I gave Pete Co the credit for it for half a day.
Yeah.
But we fixed that, and dude, amazing. Where do I send my check?
You also created a little bit of a controversy when you reached out to Pete Co to say thank you, and then Pete Co goes, "Gareth wrote Bill a jingle." He didn't. All right. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I want to interview Bill on the record here for a few minutes, and if anybody has questions, and then we'll have some Christmas fun, and I've got presents for everybody. I've got nothing. But I do want to ask Bill about Russia and what has developed over the last couple of days. There a lot of all the alarms are ringing. There's going to be a potentially very, very ugly armed conflict, a war, a battle of sorts in Russia, on the border of Russia, Ukraine. And right now, Vladimir Putin is setting up, as he has before, kind of a conspiratorial situation. He spoke to his top folks, and he said, I guess this is public, right? He said the West is getting ready to use chemical weapons, and what that means is he's going to use chemical weapons, right? How am I doing? Take over.
Well, he said the West has a private military contractor getting ready to do a some sort of chemical provocation. The Russians love that word, by the way. They say provovatskaya, and basically he's doing exactly what the Germans did to Poland in the late 30s, right? They've got them surrounded effectively, half their country on three sides. They are not going to lose the battle. The Russians are going to win the initial phase, and it's going to get real ugly. And I think what's happening at this point is that Putin's popularity is declining. Russians' engagement with him is declining. His ability to fix things in other ways is going away. And I think that basically he is going to, he's boxed himself into having to do it. That's kind of where he is right now. He needs it politically. He has put, they've been putting troops onto this border for 6 months now. It's been going on for a really long time. I think 175 of their 198 battle groups are there. Like, They're really pushing all the chips in. And I don't really see how we can possibly back out. And it's going to be an incredibly violent, nasty war. And I know Ukrainians in D.C. I know guys, U.S. military guys in D.C. They're all planning to help the Ukrainians fight the Russians. It's going to start with a big chunk of Ukraine taken by Russia. And then it likely turns into Europe's first large-scale insurgency since World War II. And that's going to push tons of refugees into Poland, into Germany, into all of Ukraine's neighbors. You're going to have 1 million people, 2 million people on the run. And it's the Cold War starting over again with Russia, much diminished power. But it's going to be really bad. It's the next phase in history starting. And at this point, I just don't see how Putin can back down. I just don't. I think he's committed too much already. So after we're done, long after we're done worrying about COVID, we'll be worrying about the Ukraine.
You will.
It's going to be bad.
I'm not worried.
No, I mean, we will, because it's going to really fuck with oil prices in Europe. It's going to really fuck with everything. I know the other side of this, by the way, is it revitalizes NATO overnight. You're suddenly going to have the Europeans with a really strong reason to be part of NATO and spend military money and be ready to fight the Russians, because the Russians will not stop in the Ukraine. If they can manage to seize the Ukraine or seize most of it, 100% chance they go for bits and pieces of other countries. So it's a new phase in our history, in the world's history. And it's sort of the, not Revenge of the Nerds. What am I looking for? What's that stupid Star Wars movie? The Empire Strikes Back. That's where we're at.
They're rebuilding, trying to rebuild the Death Star, but they really are a diminished power, as you said. And before anybody gets too uptight, A, Bill could be wrong about everything. B, I
would love to be.
It could completely not happen. C, it could happen quickly. It could backfire, and Putin could lose power. And so you never know, because foreign policy is not epidemiology, which is why I want to pivot to that. Does anybody have any questions for Bill about that? Real quick, Bill, to lighten it up. When did you learn and earmuffs for any children? Troy, I saw your child there. I'm going to talk about a Santa related thing. Bill, when did you find out?
When did I find out about what? I'm sorry.
And how did you find out that? Were you told about Santa?
Oh, that's really funny. I actually probably believed in Santa till I was like 10 years old. Mm-hmm. I was in. By the way,
okay, so you've fallen for so for whatever Bill thinks. I mean, that kind of discredits him. Till 10, folks.
Oh, there's plenty of things that discredit me. I mean, that's just the cherry on top of that sundae. But what's funny is
question.
My kid.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Phil. And you can, folks, I muted you while I was talking to Bill, if you had your mic, because I want to play this. And you can unmute yourself, can't you? I don't know how Zoom works. Still, it's 2 years.
Yeah, you can.
Okay,
yeah.
Go ahead, Phil.
I apologize. Apologize.
No, don't apologize.
I was making a lot of noise.
No, fine.
I was making a lot of noise. But what would China's response be, Bill, or would they have any?
Well, China would love it, because China, despite what you hear, China's not about to invade Taiwan. But they would really, really love it if the United States was busy worrying about a war in Central Europe. Because the reason China is freaking out about Taiwan and trying to gear up to make it possible in the next 5 years is they're running out of time. Now that the U.S. has pulled out of Afghanistan and is pivoting towards China, the U.S. military is changing itself into a pure competitor military again. All the things about fighting insurgencies and all that bullshit is going into the back burner, and they're putting together hardcore artillery, tanks, combined arms to go after somebody who's like us. And the longer we have to do that, the less likely it is that China could win in Taiwan. And that's why you're suddenly hearing about all this right now. That's why the Chinese are talking that. They are actually, they're running out of time for it to be viable, which I know is exactly the opposite of everything you've heard if you read Defense One or the Washington Post. But that's actually the reality. The U.S. is reconstituting itself as a tank-heavy, artillery-heavy, super badass conventional war, the biggest badass that there ever has been. And China, of course, if that happens, China can't take Taiwan.
China has one aircraft carrier, don't they? And it's got that ski jump at the end of it.
No, they're building the Liaoning.
Bill B in DC.
Sorry, what?
I was just about to launch into some assholishly knowledgeable thing about Chinese aircraft carriers.
All right, don't because we've got to let's use just a little bit more time to show the breadth of knowledge that this community brings. Let's watch this. Let's do 3 minutes. It's the Dr. Barry Hummel and Dan McDonald show. Barry is a pediatrician, and Dan, I don't know. But it's a Dr. Barry and Dan show. What is the most important thing for folks to know right now about Omicron? I'll start because I don't know shit. And it's we still don't know. We still don't quite know how bad. And I wanted to say today, you know what? I think Omicron, for the people who are boosted, it doesn't seem to be too bad. We got Tom Slater here. We don't know if he had Omicron, but he's joining us. He just told us. So, but now I read another epidemiologist said, you don't know that. You don't know if it's bad. Dr. Barry Hummel, you're on. What do we know?
Probably the most impressive thing is the sheer volume of cases because of how contagious it is. I think when Megan May was on a few weeks back, she talked about, I can't remember the number, the factor she used, but it's like 8 times more infectious than the original one, 4 times more infectious than Delta. If you've got 3 vaccines, you seem to be doing well. Nobody's really, so a lot of people are going in to be seen, but not a lot of people being hospitalized or dying as a result of it. But it is tying up a ton of resources. So in Florida, for example, our caseload is going up 50% per day. So we hit 20,000 cases yesterday for the first time since Labor Day. And on top of that, the positivity test rate where I live in Broward County is 13%. Obviously, we want it to be less than 5. That's the same in Miami-Dade, and Palm Beach County is 10%. So it's bad down here right now. And as you know, my wife is a physician at Cleveland Clinic, and they are very, very worried about the volume of cases, not so much the severity of illness, because it's just chewing up resources.
All right, let me tee up Dan McDonald to talk about the testing controversy. Dan sells tests door to door. He has a briefcase and an old brown suit. Dan, go ahead.
Chlamydia and syphilis or COVID?
I sell tests along with vacuums door to door. No, I do not sell tests at all. My company does, but I do not. But yeah, I mean, obviously the idea around rapid tests is that you want to be able to have access to a good fair amount of rapid tests. So you can take these tests in situations where you can take yourself out of a situation where you may be able to infect people, right? We don't have that system set up in this country, unfortunately. Access to tests are really difficult. You guys may be experiencing that now, right? Trying to get rapid tests. Rapid tests are obviously, really good. They're not as sensitive. There's always a window, whether it's a PCR test or a rapid test. There's always a window in which you can catch the right amount of viral particles, either protein for rapid tests or RNA for the PCR tests. There's always a window, but the PCR tests are more sensitive. That said, having access to cheap, inexpensive rapid tests can do a whole lot of good in this country when it's not set up for that. It's really, really frustrating. Really, it's one of the reasons why we're as bad as we are. This is why we can't have nice things, right?
Does anybody
that said,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, just kind of to piggyback off of Barry a little bit. I think the other difference here is, with Omicron is if you look at the average age of people that are having cases, it's much lower, right? So, if you think about how with the previous variants, younger people have less ACE2 receptors on our cells that the virus binds to. There's less expression of those receptors on cells. So it's harder for them to get infected. But now with Omicron having more viral particles per infection, per experience, if you will, per mouth ring, right? I like to think about this in terms of mouth ring, which is a disgusting term, but it's helpful to think about it that way because you don't want to walk in through someone's mouth ring. But
is it mouth rain? RAIN?
Mouth rain, yes.
That is so weird. That's the name of my band playing tomorrow night.
Well, it's very serendipitous that your band's about to take off because, if everyone starts thinking about this as mouth rain, it's going to help out a bit. And it's as disgusting as your band is, right? But
I don't know why you got to take a shot at my band.
The bottom line is that, that there's going to be more younger people being affected. Now, younger people have much more balanced immune systems. And I don't want to talk about strong immune systems. It's about being balanced, right? They have better balanced immune systems, so they're going to be okay overall. But they're less vaccinated, so they haven't seen any challenge from the virus yet. So it's going to be a mixed bag. There's a lot more data coming out every day on it. And you're right, Pete. It looks like people that are vaccinated have a less.
Yeah.
A more mild response.
I have one anecdote. Newsweek, former Newsweek columnist and a celebrated author and journalist, Jonathan Alter, and I recorded a great conversation. I think I'll play it next week. He had Omicron while I interviewed him. When we talked for 2 hours, 1 hour recorded, he felt completely fine. That is one person, folks. In the chat, Tina Winsett says, my bonus daughter, which is always fun, is a nurse at Cleveland Clinic Hospital. She told me today they currently have 1,000 employees out with COVID. Will Powers would like a few tests. Ty says CVS and PG County. What's that? Prince? What is it? Prince what?
Prince George's.
George's.
Thank you. Had a sign on the door that said no rapid tests available. And a person outside actually saying, I will suck. No, that was me. I said that. He didn't say that. Bill Boyle said DC was handing tests out by today. The lines were basically gone. I got 8 in 30 minutes. What kind of a greedy fuck? He took all the tests. Bill walked up and took all of the tests.
You should read the comment I made a little farther down.
Ty says black people say that's why way ain't free. Now elaborate on that comment, please. He's watching he's watching sports. Bill says if mouth rain isn't sexual kink, America is going downhill. Maddie Carlson says, do not Google mouth rain. It will haunt your dreams. Okay. Any mouth rain of your nightmare from Will Power. Any questions for Dr. Hummel and street person Dan McDonald?
I have one.
Okay. Christine, go ahead.
So
Utter snipe, Dan McDonald.
Dr. Hummel, have you read about the study that Oregon State University Health Systems did where if you are triple vaccinated and you actually have a breakthrough case, your immunity level goes to like 1,000 times higher? Like, have you read about that? And
I have not read about that, but that for some reason that doesn't surprise me. At some point between vaccines and infection, you're going to get a sustainable immune response. So here's my big fear.
We have a flag down on Christine for referring to one test.
No. That was a study of one test, was it?
Yeah, no, it
was a case report.
One
Christine?
study.
Yeah,
one study.
A case report, not a study of several people. Okay.
We've got one flag down on me for.
No, it wasn't a case report. It was a study of multiple people. I don't know how many, but it was multiple people.
We've got a flag down on me for interrupting.
So the one thing I'm afraid of is because the expanding number of cases means this virus is active in a larger population of people. So we're all going to do well with Omicron. That's not the issue. But what if Omicron then, because there's so much of it in the community, mutates again? And at some point, is this going to mutate into a different strain entirely where the vaccine doesn't work as well? And I would use influenza as the model, right? We're all used to influenza being endemic. And by that, I mean, every year we have influenza. They track it worldwide. They know what strain's most common. That's what they put in the vaccine. You go get vaccinated every year. Is the COVID going to do the same thing is the big question. Is it such a unique thing that it's always going to remain unique, like, say, chickenpox virus, where one vaccine has always worked and we've never had any big mutations? Or is this like other respiratory viruses going to mutate with some regularity over time? And if that happens, or if we start to have a weakening of the response to the current vaccines, we're going to have to go back and work on that vaccine on an annual basis or every couple of years. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen. We don't have any data to suggest that it will. We seem to be getting the same kind of surface proteins that respond to the vaccine in each of these mutations. But if that changes a little bit, that might be a problem. So one other thing I do want to go ahead, Pete. I'm sorry.
Well, I just go ahead. What was the other thing you wanted to say? I have
the
nothing.
other thing is, and this may be a Florida specific problem because we have an idiot in charge, but because he was so all in on not getting people vaccinated, he set up these clinics for the IV immunoglobulin drip, right? So they would go to parks and get the drip, the IV. Now we don't have any. We don't have any of the monoclonal antibody in the state of Florida, basically, because first it was, if you tested positive, you could just go get it. You didn't even have to have symptoms. Then it was, if you tested positive, your family members could get it too. So he's used up all of our monoclonal antibody. So now as people are getting sick and really having symptoms and would benefit from that medication, we've used up our share here in Florida. I don't know if that's a thing that's happened nationally or if that's specific to whether you live in a red state or a blue state. But that's another thing to watch out for, is that we've been kind of disarmed in Florida because we don't like the vaccine, theoretically, and now we've used up the other resources.
Which is so fucking stupid, because the monoclonal antibody is an IV drip into your goddamn arm, and it's basically the same thing as the vaccine, and these anti-vaxxers are like, I'll get that. It's like, are you serious? How could you possibly say that? Also, I'm told that Senator Rick Scott of Florida used 80% of the monoclonal antibodies himself. He sits there for 8 hours a day with that drip, and that's why he looks that way. But let's quickly, folks, go to John Carroll. John Carroll, I'd like to put you on blast. Just please, a palate cleanser of some of your deep thoughts about life, something about philosophy, about life, maybe subtly inspiring. Could you give us something from that weird Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange looking face?
I don't know what kind of crisis this is. Could be immunoglobulin drip to stole Christmas.
My brother was right. If I recorded this, people will come. So far, the last 20 minutes of this, and me just playing everybody's strengths, is hilarious, because this community, not everybody wants to talk. I don't want to put anybody on spot. I'm blasted. I don't think would want it, but Carrie Williams would have no problem. Just quickly, because Carrie wrote in the chat something. I've got to go to you to ask you what happened, and then Tina's comment is perfect. Go ahead, Carrie.
All right, so I'm in New York at the moment. I've transplanted here because I'm going to be dog sitting, house sitting.
You look like you're in You look like you're inside of a Charles Dickens painting, by the way.
Well, I'm at my parents' home at the moment, but I've transplanted to Brooklyn. I'll show you the dog later. She's in the other room with my folks. But I went to California for a few days, primarily to go to a Metallica concert.
What?
Yeah. Horns. Nice. However, I had taken possession of the dog and met with the woman who I'm taking over her apartment and stayed at her house for a couple days before she left for the country. And she texted me after she left saying someone she had hung out with like 2 days prior tested positive for COVID. So while I was in California, I was already there. I decided to go buy an at-home antigen test at the Walgreens and also buy earplugs because I value what's left of it. And I was going to see Metallica, humble brag. However, so I'm standing in line checking out with my earplugs and my one antigen test, or there's two in the box. And this woman comes in with the shopping cart and pulls up to the shelf and just empties the entire shelf of tests. And it had to be, there were at least 40 tests. There may have been more. And everyone's looking at her, and the shopkeeper came over to help her. Like, what are you doing? And she's like,
a shopkeeper? Were you in a general store in a Western?
It was a Ben Franklin 5 and dime. No, sorry. It was a Walgreens employee.
Were you at a Woolworths?
I was at a... Yes.
You had a haberdashery?
Yeah, the haberdashery. They have a lovely selection of hats.
They had an apothecary there.
But all she had to say, though, she just goes, I work for a rich person.
Oh,
and then she just, and they like checked her out in the back because they could see like the ire was getting up and there was about to be a riot. So they like wheeled her shopping cart around the corner and checked her out. But basically, somebody was just like, buy everything they have. And that's what she was doing.
Oh, so that was like the last 40. She didn't buy 40.
No,
she 400.
She cleared the shelf of every test that was left. And I was like, selfishly, I was like, thank God I grabbed mine before she did that. Otherwise, I would have been stealing one out of her cart and been like, F you, I'm taking one.
Do it.
And Tina, would you mind reading the comment that you shared in the chat for people listening? You're on mute. It's only been 700 days of Zoom, Tina. Your hair looks lovely tonight, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Definitely.
I can't.
I just said that's exactly what's wrong with this country. It's people like that. I'm so done with the selfish, rich people. I'm done.
Yeah.
Well, I have good news on Santa, but it's visual, so you'll have to bear with me.
All right, go ahead. The T-shirt you're wearing is a picture. It says of Santa. It says Santa Claus is coming, and it would seem it's a picture of Santa Claus having an. It would seem Santa's having an orgasm. Is that right, Carrie? Santa is coming.
That would be correct.
Yeah.
Santa Claus is going to town.
Wow.
To Christian Finnegan and his wife, Pete.
Say that again, Tina.
To Kristen Finnegan and his wife after their UPS delivery today.
I still missed the first part of what you said.
Shirt to Christian and his wife after her UPS.
One of the worst things in the world in my life right now is your connection. Because at the beginning of every time you talk, we don't hear the first two words. And hold on, Tina. It's happened.
You sound like the teacher from Peanuts.
Yes. And it's happened 3 times now. And it is literally stolen my will to live. But I will try one more time to hear.
I'm taking Taffy's role tonight.
Yes. It's working. Now it works.
Send that shirt to Christian.
We will
after
send
his UPS delivery today.
Nobody, folks may not know what happened, but Christian Finnegan, his wife, her name is Cambry, and she got a package sent to her that was addressed. Her name was Cumbun. Cumbun. And I tweeted as Tina saying that I sent that package, and it wasn't a mistake. So anyway, folks, I want to check in. I don't know if you want, Ty has really been double teaming us the last few Zooms. He's like there, but he's watching something. Let's check in with our racial injustice correspondent. I don't say that because he's black. I say that because if something has happened to black people, Ty will definitely let me know, which is good because I miss stuff. And today, the former police officer, Kim Potter, was found guilty. So all I'm saying, and you can push back, is all I'm saying is they don't always get away with it. I want to say, and you might punch back at the word increasingly, when police officers are caught on video killing unarmed people, much less black people, they're having to face some set of consequences. Do you want to blow me up, or do you want to say, hey, listen, sometimes, every once in a while, a cop gets caught and prosecuted and sent to jail?
I'll say that what they have is they're actively pushing back. It's kind of like the GOP actively gerrymandering us. So when they had the body cams and everything like that, like it has an effect, but they're fighting. They're not giving up because of that. They're actively fighting back. And I was listening to Angie Porter give her analysis of the Potter case today.
Who?
And she said, Angie Porter. She's a law professor, kind of like the female version of Eric Siegel. But, she follows the case. So I follow her on Twitter because she gives detailed step-by-step analysis, like, without having to watch it. So she comes on Sirius today and she's like, them damn police unions, they're actively, they're active. They're that's how you get people with all of the defense, the donations, they get the best lawyers. Like, they're not going to just roll over because they have a body cam, but yeah, her ass is going to jail. She's not going for a long time, but she's going to jail, and she's going to state jail.
Ty, did you see the picture of her booking photo after she got convicted?
Listen, I see, because I haven't actually. This is the one that I haven't actually watched closely, but I did hear the audio of her doing her fucking Rittenhouse tears.
No, the booking photo. She is grinning from ear to ear like she is the mother of the year.
Wait, but
she thought she was going to get off. That's the thing.
Wait.
This is after she got convicted. They did a new booking photo.
Oh,
I did not see that.
Oh, she is posing, grinning from ear to ear like she won a motherfucking award.
What do you make of that, Christine?
Well, I think she's psychotic.
She is.
Either that
Definitely
or
so.
somebody has told her that she's going to be like the new leader of the cause. I don't know. You got to see that booking photo. She's faced in 25 years. She's convicted. She gets a new booking photo because her defense team asked for her to be released for Christmas. The judge said, we can't do that. We can't treat her any different than anyone else.
Right.
So now they booked
that was horrendous too. I was like, who the fuck
right.
Like, she's a Catholic. She should go home for Christmas. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
He said she's a devout Catholic. She should be able to spend time with her family. She's a 49-year-old woman, and she's never had any issues. And she's she's found guilty, but her sentencing isn't until January. Let her spend family with Christmas with her family. She's not a threat. She's not going to do anything.
Oh,
wait, hold on.
She gets a new booking photo, and I think she thinks she's the new Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
Wait.
I mean,
but I have a feeling that the prison in Minnesota, they got something for her. So my question is, now I'm going to pay attention to see if she goes into solitary confinement.
Can you give me Ty? I'm going to use it as a drop, and I'm going to check it here. Can you give me your best? What was it? Go ahead. One more. No, you're not doing it as well as you did when it was authentic. So let me try it again. This woman has been found guilty, and she is going to prison, and everything's gonna be fine. I gotta isolate that. It's gonna be a lot of editing. Thank you for that. That is it's a lot of words. There's a lot of words.
I did learn something. When Chauvin, he automatically pled guilty to his federal charges. That was his strategy for his lawyers is off the chain. So the reason why he did that,
smart. Yeah.
So that he could go to a federal prison, because half the motherfuckers that he done beat up and sent to prison are in Minnesota prison. So this is kind of a way that he could try to escape. But his name is so fucking famous. He's known everywhere. So I'm pretty sure he's probably going to get special protection and being in lockdown 24/7.
They actually built a prison.
He waited 2 years for federal prison. That's what.
So I know
going to say 2 years longer.
Federal prison guards, and before they became counselors and started working in other areas, they worked in the really intense parts of the prison. And I'm telling you, and our office. Well, and us will talk about our office. So, anyways, he told me he saw. He got locked in with 100 guys. One guard got locked in with 100 guys at night in the most intense area. He said he saw, he's a major in the army. He trains troops. He saw violence in.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
And that's federal prison. It's no joke.
It's not going to be easy.
So So I'm about to, I've been waiting for a long time to do this interview, but I'm doing it soon. I just don't know how to handle it, but that's why I've hesitated. So my roommate from college, I don't know if you guys know, but I had a black roommate. He was a corrections officer at Rikers Island for 20 years, and he's been begging me to the point that he's mad at me. We had an argument that I haven't had him on the podcast, but I'm worried because I want to protect him. And I don't have any way to corroborate what he has to say.
Is he retired?
He's retired.
Then he's good.
I know, but
that's the only reason why he isn't bothered to say anything. If he was still getting paid, he wouldn't do it.
So he is begging me to tell about his 20 years as a corrections officer at Rikers Island. And what he has told me off the record is it's the craziest shit you've ever heard in your life. It's like you never even you thought this stuff could happen. And I mean, this guy is Brownsville, Brooklyn black. Like he's not like like he's seen all sides. He's code switched into all like I don't want to. That's what's hard. I don't want to say things that I know. I mean, he's one of my oldest friends, so it's like I know stuff. Yeah. So when if I'll tape the interview and whether or not I post it is going to be a tough call because I worry too much about him. But yeah, he's the one. Like half my stand-up act is based on my relationship with this guy and the white black. He told me there was going to be a race war in 1997. He goes, there will be a race war. It was 1996, and I'm not even kidding you. I was like, this is somewhere in my act years ago. Big black guy. Just imagine like Charles. He looks like Charles Barkley. He's like I'm 5'7", 5'8". He's like 6'1". My roommate and one of my closest friends. He goes, oh yeah, there's going to be a race war. And then he called me a white devil or something. And then I just go to him. I go, I really said this. I really swallowed. I go, I'm not even messing with you guys right now. I go, do you know when? And where does that, I said this, I was like, where does that leave us? And he looks at me and patted me in the head and said out loud, oh, you're good. And I was like, what does that mean? Do all the rest of the black people know I'm good? Is there a memo that goes out? Armband. An armband. I'll never forget it. That's why having him on the show is going to be amazing because we're gonna hash all that out. He was one of the whatever black Muslims before 9/11.
Did you see the piece by HuffPost today about the guy that wore a wire and worked in Florida for the FBI and helped like plan murders as part of an FBI, and then reported them. And he said about the level of white supremacists in law enforcement and how they intentionally get in law enforcement to recruit.
Oh yeah.
Same thing with what's the one last week about was that a Pentagon report about the amount of
military people, folks. Yeah. The correlation, and maybe somebody wants to push back Bill or anybody else. That anybody knows anybody in law enforcement, they are law enforcement. I don't know if we've got any law enforcement.
I know
here.
The military people, and they're friendly as fuck to the January 6th people. So that's what I keep saying. Like y'all don't really know how fucking close.
The correlation
are too friendly.
The correlation, what's the percentage of law enforcement members and military members who are also oath keepers is high.
Yeah.
It is high. And the percentage of, for example, NYPD alone.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, NYPD
honestly,
is.
Pete, it depends on the city you're in. Like in DC, the police here fucking hated Trump passionately. I think it depends on the
you give the police. You give the DC police too much.
Dude, they used to be fucking awful.
Yeah, because CNN just hired the Capitol police officer that doesn't trust his own people after testifying.
Well, Finnegan was that story was reported really weirdly. By the way, Finnegan was a DC police officer. He wasn't Capitol Police. Although I know why you're saying that because he got reported that way all over the place.
Oh, I've been. What's that the big black guy's name? I've been texting with him, and he's supposed to come on the show, and I forget.
Gary Dunn.
Yeah, Gary Dunn.
Harry. You should get him on.
Harry. He's supposed to. Yeah, I've been texting with him. I don't know what happened. You reminded me. Go ahead. Sorry. I just wanted to name drop Harry Dunn. Apparently.
So I would say that like most of these guys are, if 10% of a police department are racist assholes, that's fucking awful.
10,
right?
10.
It doesn't.
Hold on. Let's go. Hold on. Let's go to our rate. Let's go back to Ty. Let's go back. Hold on. Ty, what do you make of 10%?
That's not.
I would say, it's what's interesting between PG County and DC because we have such a heavy Democratic black population. We keep the shit in check.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Bill.
I should. You know what I mean?
No, I know.
It's not trouble free.
That's why there's so much representation in Congress.
It's better than most places.
I shouldn't question, but Bill,
that I'll agree with. It's better than most, but that shit is not trouble free. And I'll give you an example. So there's a guy that I work with. He's from Cleveland, right? And all of his cousins and everybody are police officers. This motherfucker is so pro police. He tells me the stories about how, his family works in the hood and they want the kids to run. So think about the narrative of when you hear, especially conservatives, if you didn't do nothing, you shouldn't run from the police. These motherfuckers, and these are black now, they're saying if a motherfucker ain't running, I'm going to fuck him up. Think about that for a second. Yeah. I'm like, but here's the thing. I don't tell him that, but he tells us stories all the time about how he was a fucking teenager robbing the fucking donuts truck and all kind of shit. But I'm like, wait a minute, man. Just because you're a fucking middle class, got all this money now, and you're 50 something years old, you have this disdain for the public. These kids was doing the same shit you was doing. Sure. But you want them to rough him up and beat him up. He's so.
Folks, hold on a second. I'm getting depressed. We talked about Omicron, Russia, and racism, and I can't. I'm getting. It's 9:00. I'm glad we talked about that. I taped it. I think I'm going to share that. Unless if anybody said anything, Christine, you didn't say anything, by the way, and I didn't say your name, so it's fine. That is, let me know. You can text me or email me or whatever. But I think I want to share that. It was really great. Really, really great. But now I want to change gears and do something way lighter. I see hands up. RJ, Matt, can we move on to, and I'll go to you guys on something lighter. Unless you really want to talk about something that happened, I'd love to just ask everybody here what they want for Christmas, what they got for Christmas, what they're hoping for, and whether or not, like me, they've done very little shopping. I went to the mall the other day for like 8 minutes. I was like, no, can't do it. I walked in. I drove in. I was with Ava. I drove in. I was like, "Is the Garden State Mall?" I was like, "This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy."
Yeah, it was
crazy.
packed today, man. I was out running errands, and I had to stop because the fucking the landfill. I'm cleaning out my garage. They was like, "Oh, we have to take all cash today." So my first trip, they gave it to me for free. So my second ride, I was like, "Damn, I got to stop and get cash." I go to the CVS. But when I tell you that they didn't have any tests, the fucking lines, I mean, that's everywhere. Traffic's everywhere. People are out doing their last minute Christmas or whatever they want to call it. It's packed.
So I go, I go into the mall. We had to get Uggs for the wife. She wanted the Ugg slippers, and that's where the Ugg store is. I went in the Ugg store, and there was a line in the store. And can you give me an That's how I felt. And I was like, there's a line in the store. So anyway, I was like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. France Pants, ugly sweater, or I'm sorry, is that a not ugly? Oh, look who it is, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God. What have we here, ladies?
What up, Frank? What up, France Pants?
Hi. Oh my God. Now we can have some fun. Now let's have some fun. This is this couple, folks, are not a couple. They are siblings. Don't get crazy. Cut that off. Let's tone it down now. Where did you just pop in?
Yeah, I'm down in Charlotte now, and I just joined with you guys. But
cool.
10 minutes ago.
Cool. Give it to Frank, please.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, man? How are you? Are there children?
Yeah, can you hear them?
There's
a ton of kids.
What do we got? What are we working with?
This is his kid. This is our other brother.
Yeah.
And then there's another.
Wait a second.
We're just children.
Wait a second. Your other brother's
what?
Your other brother is not been on the program.
No. There's another one. There's a ton of them.
I need to meet him.
Are they worth interviewing? I didn't hear. Let's go. Let's
talk.
What does he do? Video game designer?
No, education.
Ooh.
He's a teacher in this terrible world. Yeah. So that's a good thing.
But they're not bad kids in the right? No, they're still bad.
What do you teach, sir?
Well, I used to teach PE at an alternative school, and now I'm a behavior specialist for elementary kids.
Very impressive. Do you feel a deep sense of disrespect when we say you're a gym teacher? Is that really cut deep, apparently?
No, that don't cut deep. I don't care.
My friend is a phys ed teacher, and I called her a gym teacher, and she didn't talk to me for a year. I was like, I didn't know that was a sign of disrespect. She's like, I am a phys ed teacher.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know why she tripping like that. Like, what? I don't know.
Well,
say.
Oh, I missed it. What did you say?
I said, just say sorry.
I did not think of that.
Yeah.
Hey, it's good to meet you. I'll leave you with your child. I'm sorry, but I love your brother and your sister, and I think I knew that you existed, but I wanted to just put one more piece of the puzzle, and it's good to see your face.
Right. I appreciate it. Y'all have a happy holiday.
Merry Christmas, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Donvan, I see down there. He always loves to be called out. He loves it. It's his favorite thing. He's like, oh, please, thank you. This guy right here, John Donvan, gave me quite a gift. Quite a gift. What an unbelievable voicemail message. A life changer, as a matter of fact. When you grow up and you look up to somebody, whether it be an athlete. When you grow up, it's an athlete because you're an idiot. And then you develop and you have ideas and you have thoughts, and then you get new idols and new people that you put on a pedestal. That's like what happened to me when I met John Donvan. So when someone who you have great respect for, like even knows who you are, much less says what he said to me, you're just like, oh, I could die, John Donvan. And I just wanted to I just want to hear your voice and see your face. By the way, I don't want to take anything away from your amazing career as a journalist or anything like that, but what a goddamn beautiful man you are. Every time I see you, a very, very attractive man. Go ahead, sir.
How are you, Pete? I wanted to drop in. Oh, hey, Tina, I see you out there. I wanted to drop in because of the 500, and also I didn't know if you were going to talk about your off day, your mental health day. And I will. I'd be worried about you and wanted to see, because I feel like I'm on a mental health decade. So I wanted to see how you were doing.
It's a weird thing to this whole project, John. Imagine like to then say, like, to tell everybody, hey, no show today, mental health day. And I think I said something like drama and distractions, and like 100 people are like, you okay? And I was like, yeah. I'm okay. I think with that, to some extent, the reason why I say that, I don't know what to say. If the show doesn't drop, people are like, are you dead? I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I just do what I've always done. I'm like, I'll be honest with you. A lot of shit rained down on me today, and it made it hard to self-produce a podcast and news segment. So, I think it's a healthy thing with this whole trying to fight the stigma of mental health. I've seen a lot of other people do this, and I saw how it resonated when I lost my job, which you were a huge part of my support system and my inspiration and peeling me off the ground. And so I just want to, sometimes shit goes sideways, and I want to say, hey, you got to take a day off. And as I usually do when it's real bad, I go into the woods. I talk to a few people that I have as go-tos, including my big brother, and I come out of the woods, and I feel way better, and I'm back and feel fine. It was just a rough 24 hours, and it's kind of like a thing to say, hey, everybody, give yourself permission, especially men, I don't know, give yourself permission to take a day off when shit goes sideways. So that's kind of what happened. I'd be happy to be more specific, but I don't want to,
So these men, they're just lingering in the woods, and you walk out there?
Yes. When you walk in, you just see a bunch of guys in hunting jackets crying.
That's hot.
The other thing I wanted to say is you mentioned on when you announced that you just didn't have time to get to the news. It's occurred to me the news presentation, which actually is my favorite part of the program, is just like a gigantic amount of work, and seems like you don't have people doing that for you. And because I'm sort of semi in that field of putting together stuff that's on the news and pulling it together, and have done that, and that's a whole day, and then you squeeze 2 interviews in somehow, and then it's 2:00 in the morning. I just don't know how you do it, but you really, really, and if you can sustain it, but you've sustained it for 500 shows. I know you didn't do it right in the very beginning. I think it's the thing that you're doing that nobody else is doing, and it's fantastic. And I think you should get some help doing it.
And also,
you should get some help as well.
In general,
basically. Yeah.
John, thank you for recognizing that. And I don't like to talk about too in detail because of how I don't know. A, it's boring, and B, it's like, oh, I work so hard. I've said that a couple times, and I've edited myself out. I've actually said, it's a lot of work, and then I'm like, I edited it out. I'm like, who gives a shit? I'm in a shed with a computer. You think about like some migrant farmer, like a lot of work, and but it is a shit ton of work. It's hours and hours to get it right, and then listen to it, and then get rid of the mistakes, and then you post it. And then you get a text from Joe Liotta or Tina Winsett. I'm naming people who are here. Maybe a Barry Hummel is really good. And you get a text at like 4 a.m. Hey, man, there's 30 seconds of silence. Hey, dude, the jingle's cut off at 1:42. And even though you checked it as much as you could and you listened to it and you tried to get it right, and you're one person, there's just so much. But I love doing the news. It's the one thing about that, though, is, as you know, John, when you know everything that's happening in the world, it's mentally, you got to have a practice to deal with that, I think. And my practice is simply, these are the things that are being reported because they are aberrations. And even in 2021, with climate change, racism, and COVID, the vast majority of people are good and doing good and kind and loving things all day. And that's why, and we don't report those. So I always settle with that. How do you do it?
How do I do what exactly?
Navigate all of the bad news in the world and not let it affect you to the point where you can't do your job.
Oh, it's really interesting that I might just have been numb for most of my career, but I got through it, and I saw bad things and went to places where bad things were happening. And I think at the time I felt that it was important that I report on the stories and tell them. But so I'm 66, and I've stopped being full-time at ABC about 10 years ago, but I still do things from time to time. But I had like 25, 30 years of reporting. But about 15 years ago or so, it's just started to catch up with me in ways that surprised me. And my wife, who's a physician, but used to be a journalist before she became a physician, had been talking with me for some time about reporters having PTSD. And I didn't really feel that reporters have the right to have PTSD because we're reporting on people who have real problems and we're just reporting on it. We don't have, and so I felt that it wasn't touching me or should touch me. And she was sometimes saying, maybe you should talk to somebody. And I would say, I'm fine. And then we went to see the Michael Moore movie, Fahrenheit 9/11, which was about the invasion of Iraq, in the one where there were no weapons of mass destruction, which was another story that I covered. And we were watching this movie, which I have a lot of problems with, actually. I don't really like the movie. But there was a scene where just prior to the war starting, there were some scenes of kids playing in a playground and playing on some swings. And we were watching that. And all of a sudden, I just started bawling. I just really, really. And I had been in Iraq when this stuff had happened. I had been in Iraq before it happened. And I just fell apart in this movie theater in Washington, D.C. And she turned and looked at me with this. I felt a very satisfied smile that I was confirming her thing. And then after that, I began to cry on the air when I was reporting on. So I don't know if people remember when there was a guy with a gun went in and tied up a lot of Amish women and murdered them. And I covered that for Nightline. And I was on live at the scene, and Terry Moran was the anchor in the studio, and he asked me a question about one of the kids' grandfather, and I started talking about it, and I just fell apart in tears. So I think I had a kind of delayed reaction career-wise to, and so this stuff started happening probably in the last 4 or 5 years of my active reporting career. And then interestingly, I now have an arrangement with ABC where I'm a consultant and I teach kind of writing and storytelling to younger correspondents. And a couple of years ago, they had me in to talk to the whole staff of Nightline. And I brought a couple of my favorite stories that I thought had good storytelling in them. And one of them we can talk about another time was the day I spent with Fred Rogers, which was my answer to what was the best story you ever worked on. And that was that. But I also brought my coverage of Hurricane Katrina. And I had done a story about, I had come across a highway intersection a little bit outside the city of New Orleans on the second or third day after the storm had come through. And there were a bunch of people from the community these were the people who had been trapped in their roofs and helicoptered off their roofs. And they had all been like dropped at this intersection. But at the intersection, there was nowhere to go, so there were probably about 1,000 people, more or less, trapped in this location, and the military was trying to rescue them, but they were rescuing them by bringing helicopters back in and flying people out, a few people at a time. It was going to take days and days and days to get them out, and families were having to be separated. Who's going to get on the helicopter? Who's not? And these were people who were not, well off to begin with. Virtually every person was African American, so it was the community was being decimated. And I just wandered among them, and I interviewed them and talked with them about like where had they been, how long had they been there, where was the food coming from, where were they sleeping, where were they going to the bathroom, who had told them anything, and they were just like this forgotten community that had formed spontaneously in this terrible situation, and it was blisteringly hot. There was very, very little shade, and it was just a terrible situation. It was not one of the main stories out of New Orleans at the time because there were so many bad ones, but it was one that stuck with me. And I started showing this to the staff at Nightline, and in front of all of them, I started talking about what it was like that day, and in front of all of them, I just broke down again. I just started sobbing and sobbing and sobbing, and I found it very embarrassing. But I've also found that people like it when they see me cry. They invariably I get no, it's okay. I mean, obviously, it's very powerful and it was very moving, and so. Then there becomes this incentive to do it on purpose. But I've never done that because I still find it embarrassing. But to answer your question, I don't think I navigated it at all for all the years. I think I made myself numb to it, and then it sort of caught up with me. That's my answer to your question.
The only thing I have to say to respond to what you just said is you should be embarrassed.
You're an asshole.
No, I want to. Can I just respond? First of all, Mr. Don Van, I have infinite respect for you and your intelligence squared stuff. Your ability to keep things organized in your head is really superhuman. It's amazing to watch you operate in that capacity. But I had a similar experience. I was telling people I used to commercially fish for salmon in Alaska, and I was telling people about leaning over to pull up a 40-pound king salmon, this beautiful product of nature. And I'd been killing thousands of salmon by then, and I couldn't bring myself to gaff this thing and pull it aboard. And I broke down crying as I was telling this story. Talk about being embarrassed.
Yeah, you should.
Wow. I literally broke down crying because of everything we've done to nature. It's so fundamental to me what we've done to nature. And
I just want to, again, I just got to jump in here to say you too should be embarrassed. John, here's the thing though. Today I was talking about you, John, because I was talking to a therapist who diagnoses adults with autism. and I dropped your name because I do a lot. And the idea that you would be here tonight and say what you said and share what you said is I'm honored by that. I think everybody here has something to offer, as proven earlier before you popped in. And I given your career as a journalist, and then the fact that, Phil mentioned knowing you as the Intelligence Square debate moderator, which is American treasure, that entire series, every one of them is evergreen and relevant, and you're doing an amazing job during the pandemic. But your book and the documentary to partner with it is, I don't know, pretty much it has to be the most important work in a different key. This is the story of autism that John co-wrote with Karen Zucker. But I just want to say that I can't believe I'm your friend, and I'm so grateful to that you were so honest and vulnerable just there, as hanging on your every word. And
well, now you should be embarrassed. So
yeah, well.
Well said.
Hey, can I put on my DC Insider hat for 1 second?
Yes, but also I was going to try to fire back at John about the last time we had dinner together and his menu choices. Go ahead, Bill.
I was just going to say that my DC, let me say, as the resident DC Insider guy, not really, but sort of, there's not a lot of guys like John Donvan in Washington, I got to say. On top of that, by the way, John, as I understand it, you're starting to do documentaries, right?
Yeah.
Check out your DMs on Twitter. I gave you a pretty good idea, I think.
Okay. All right.
You ever heard of Odessa Madre?
Mm-mm.
He's now going to pitch the idea that he DM'd you.
No. I'm just going to give him a
just
teaser.
Real quick. Also, John, I've got a screenplay. I sent it to you.
No, I didn't read any of it. I'm too lazy. I haven't done any of the work. John, she was the black lesbian girlfriend of Mom's Mabley, head of the DC underworld for about 30 years.
Wow.
Who no one's ever heard of.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
She's amazing. Odessa Madre. I sent you a thing just to give you the finer points. And she helped found the DC lottery. I mean, just the best story ever. Yeah. So.
All right. Thanks.
Check it out. Feel free to contact me.
All right. Thanks. Thank you.
And John, I do just want to say in front of everybody that voicemail message you left me that I used at the opening of the show got so much attention and so many people loved it. And it was just, I could die. It was just wonderful.
Well, it really would have been great to trace you going through this journey. I think a lot of people could find it relatable. And I just love the fact that the building of the shed would be this metaphor, keep returning to the platform is put in. Did you repurpose like a tool shed, or did you build it from the ground up?
It's funny you mention that, because at least on my screen, right below you is the guy who did it. Nick DiFabrizio, I see him pop in here, and John, he is like, I met him while hosting a fundraiser because he gave like $10,000, and he taught me. He was like my Mr. Miyagi, so he came to my house and
that'd be great.
I met him.
Nick, you should have been in the film. Yeah, film that isn't.
For sure. I met him as a donor to a nonprofit, and then he started listening to the show and became a regular caller, and then he showed up at my house day after day at the height of COVID in 95-degree heat to cut fiberglass, and he bought supplies. He paid for them and wouldn't take the money. So he role modeled generosity in every way throughout his, giving money, giving time, and actually building the shed. And he never would if anything, I'll let him, obviously it's up, but he would get so annoyed at my shortcuts. And he saw that the frames in here still aren't painted. And he's like, I'm coming up tomorrow. I'll come up there. We got to paint did you put the outlet holders on? You didn't put the outlet covers on. You're going to get electrocuted.
It was a little hard at the beginning.
So anyway, Nick is just
water.
And so many other people have just been, amazing contributors in so many different ways to this show, and their songs and their jokes and their booking. Anyway, Nick, what do you, he won't even say anything. He came here. It was crazy what he did. The crazy amount of work. He's not, 30.
Well, I like to do physical work, because I sit at a desk, and then on my weekdays and weekends, I like to make stuff. So that was a lot of fun to build it. And then we got to go eat pizzas at Bardio's, which is
this guy will not stop. He will not stop talking about this restaurant. And he told me the whole time he's building the shed. He also told me legendary stories about like gangsters and all kinds of crazy New Jersey shit. Like the whole time he's like, one time. And I was like, who are you? It's fucking, what are you doing here? What is happening right now? How do you know these people? My dad, it's amazing, amazing, amazing. So anyway.
And John Donvan, the tragic epilogue to the documentary would be when Pete added the Minnie Mouse pillow to the shed.
Minnie Mouse pillow.
Hey, Nick, I have a question. Did the stuff that, based on your the way Pete's describing you, did the stuff that you donated to the shed, did that fall off a truck?
No.
No, this is the weird thing.
He just knows a guy.
No, this is the weird thing. Maybe I'm giving him too much credit, but like he gives all of his money away and he gives all of his time away. He does have a pickup truck, and it's not a 2019.
Well, Pete, I got to tell you a sad story. My pickup, I got it back from the shop yesterday, and the frame has rotted through.
So of course it has.
I have to take it off the road.
Of course it has.
I'm giving it up after 20 years. The pickup truck has to be retired.
Of course it has. It's the first pickup truck, and it had a tree growing out of it. And
well, it has weeds, not a tree.
Whatever. It was. I'm telling you, folks. He can say whatever he wants. It had an apple crisp tree with actual apples growing out of his pickup truck. Point is, dude's giving all of his money away. And I'm like, hey, why don't you stop giving your money away to poor people and get yourself a brand new truck? I don't know. What do I need? What do I need?
You know what? You can never get enough toys, sex, drugs, or rock and roll. But you'll always have people that need help. So if you get kicks out of doing that, you'll always have fun and always enjoy yourself. There's always going to be somebody that needs something to help out. And if you can get enjoyment out of that, you'll always have abundance. You'll never have scarcity. But all those other things, forget it. As you get older, you'll never have enough of those other things, no matter what, right? That's my attitude anyway.
And this is why we love Nick, that right there.
Yeah. And
that is so awesome. Nick, can I have whatever drugs you don't want?
Yeah, right.
It's not even that.
Whatever sex you don't want. You can pass that up.
After the Civil
War. No, Bill, I'm too old for that. I'd like one a week and I'm out. I'm done.
Well,
I didn't say I didn't want those things. I just said you'll never get enough of them, right?
I'll take some of that spare rock and roll.
Right.
Hey, Nick, how's Cagino going?
What's that?
Cagino, how's it going?
I'm having trouble hearing you.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about. But
aren't you with the group out of Africa?
Kagano.
Kagano, yeah. Everybody's doing really well. And yes, they're doing very well. I'm so amazed that a couple people got COVID, but no one's died yet. And we're very grateful because they have no vaccines, they have no drugs, and no oxygen. But they're surviving so far. Everybody's doing okay. So we're praying every day, like, please. Yeah. And hopefully this last one will be fine too.
Well, let me just put a bow on this and just go back to John Donvan. Just again say thank you for joining us and thank you for being so kind and generous and thoughtful. And I mean, I've been begging you to join me, and I would. You just said that you spent a day with Fred Rogers, and you're. I know that's out there in Nightline, but could we get some time? Could we get some time with you to hear that story? Good God, I'd like to hear that story. He is one of the most important people I mentioned Charles Schultz earlier and Charlie Brown, but Fred Rogers, come on, I want that story. So whenever you want to tell it, or anything else you want to talk about, who is expecting you to show up and rock our worlds tonight? So amazing.
Let's set that up. Let's plan on that.
I'll talk. I'll contact your people apparently.
Yeah. And if my secretary sounds a lot like me, that's just an illusion.
Do an impression.
Hey, can we ask John whether he prefers JD or Beam? Jack Daniels or Jim Beam? John? Which
yes.
one?
I'm not a drinker of that nature of alcohol.
That's the right answer.
Probably a
disgusting.
A Japanese single malt, Bill. Come on.
Earlier, I did tweet like, "What's the difference between Jim Beam and Jack Daniels?" And that was obviously bait for assholes because I was bored. And they showed up. They all showed up, and then the only answer that matters, of course, is a couple people said is like, enjoy the things in life that you enjoy. Who gives a shit what anybody thinks? And then that guy also said he was drinking some kind of like apple liquor, and he's like, fight me, go fuck yourselves. I like it, and it was amazing, just amazing. And then I have to deal with like the Bill Boyles and the Dan McDonalds of the world. They're both here, and their harassment because I like to drink what they would consider urine.
Yeah, Pete prefers Evan Williams.
I don't prefer Evan Williams. I'm not that bad.
Pete, can I ask John Donvan a question, please? Is that cool?
Yeah, but at this point, we have to start paying him.
Okay. Mr. Donvan, what's the one thing you feel like you learned from the past 2 years during this pandemic?
Oh, I'm Mr. Donvan. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
What did I learn from the last 2 years?
What has it changed?
You mean the pandemic, basically?
Yeah. How has it changed you in any way, you think?
Hold on. I've got to do an ad read for Tommy John underwear while John thinks about. So Tommy John is a life changer. Did that help, John?
Oh, I began to think that you actually have got sponsorship for this. And I thought I didn't know Hangouts could have sponsorship. Okay.
No, toothbrushes. He does toothbrushes.
You're right.
Right.
The Quip Electric.
This is another, I'm an asshole story, but I said this thing to my wife the other day, 2 days ago. What day is today? Yeah, I said this to her on Tuesday afternoon. So my wife is, I need to give a little bit of background. My wife is, I mentioned before, is a former journalist who became a physician. So she knows what the business and the news business is like. But her current role, she became a doctor about 20 years ago. And she stopped doing clinical practice about 3 years ago. And she was always interested in public health. And she was a professor at Georgetown Medical School. And she was recruited on short notice as a stopgap measure in summer of last year to help them figure out their COVID policy. And she really has she kind of found her moment because it's to quote Rahm Emanuel, don't want to waste a good crisis. So this became the defining crisis for her, where she's really gotten to bring all of her skills to bear. And Georgetown has recognized her by making her a vice president and chief of public health for the university system in the last few months. So she's really on a roll. But it means that 24 hours a day, she's talking about and thinking about COVID. And I overhear the conversations that she's having all day long on all kinds of issues. For example, big issues like, should we go online only in the winter, to small issues like this student tested positive and we've put that student in a hotel, but there's nobody to bring breakfast. So all kinds of stuff that's all consuming. And I was listening to her do that. And I think I had just seen something on the news about, 2 days ago, DC announced that they were releasing a batch of quick response tests, and you had to go to the public library to pick them up. And I drove to the library nearby, and people were circled around the block 3 times around the block at some of the libraries, and there were not going to be enough tests. And I was following this mostly on Twitter. I drove to 2 libraries, and then I was watching the rest on Twitter. Okay. So all that to say, I saw all of this big kind of screw up going on. And I strolled into my wife and I said, and another piece of this is I used to cover places where democracies were very fragile and where economic systems were even worse. So I lived in the Soviet Union and saw how that didn't work. And I lived in the Middle East in Jordan, and I covered Beirut when it was falling apart, and Iraq several times from the 1980s through the war that I mentioned, Egypt before before Mubarak and then during Mubarak. And I went into my wife and I said, one thing I always felt when I watched all of these places in crisis and all of these places kind of slowly falling apart is, I said to her, I was always thinking, why is it so hard for them to just get it? Why is it so hard for them to just carry out normal stuff? And the subtext to me was, like we do in the United States, because we're really good at everything. We have good airports and good phone systems and good medical systems and good delivery systems. And I just said, this has been so humbling for me as an American to see how bad we are at basic logistical things that I always used to kind of think we were the best in the world at. And maybe we were better than folks, but we kind of stopped moving forward, and now we're behind in a lot of ways. And I just found that humbling. And I just said, if I were to go back to my reporting career, I would approach the challenges that other, I don't know if the word is civilizations or nations or states, probably states have. I would be more, at least personally, more humble about it. I didn't say this stuff in my reporting, anything like it, but it was just a kind of private thought that I had. So I think the last 2 years have taught me some humility about that. And also I used to feel that our institutions, our democratic institutions of democracy, were really, really on solid ground, really, really rock solid. And now I don't think so. I think that they're very, very fragile. And I used to think that we were all going to basically always hold together as a nation, kind of like a family that sometimes argues with itself. And now I'm not so sure about holding together. I'm very so this is not a very positive answer to positive outlook to answer any of your questions. But the last 2 years have kind of brought me down on all of these things.
Folks, the Quip electric toothbrush, the way it feels in your mouth, it's like democracy dying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would say that for me, the 100 quips that I've bought, because I buy one every time you mention it, those have been the one positive thing in my life. They lift me up almost by their torque power when I'm putting them all in my mouth, more than anything else.
Nice.
John, I'm sorry, but I don't have I'm more negative as a result of the last 2 years.
Well, everybody is. I mean, like, it's not like it's hard. It's really hard to find. But we take it one day at a time, and we find the joy.
Sure.
And
one thing I'm working on is an answer that takes less than 7 minutes. So I'm going to stop talking.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. Thank you for answering me.
Well, that was what a wonderful, deep and thoughtful question. For John, for anybody really, but given his perspective, living and reporting from places all around the world and seeing places where there isn't democracy or different kinds is just wonderful. That we what a pleasant surprise. I'm going to mute this person. How dare you come in at this point?
To add to the general vibe, I think we got 11 months to save democracy.
I will be moving. I do want to announce this. The program in 12 months will take place from Vancouver. We've identified where we're going to go. And I think Vancouver. And by I say we, I mean me. My wife doesn't like rain. I don't know. Yeah, it's tough, and I think you're right, Phil. And we will keep keep talking about it. I talked to Ruth Ben-Ghiat today. She, of course, is a PhD on authoritarianism, fascism, Italian fascism, and we had a wonderful and interesting and important conversation. So I would just say keep paying attention to them. And I would also say, and my entrance into local activism has been quite enlightening, and I probably should spend like an hour talking about what I've done, what I've seen, and what's happening. But what I haven't said it on the show, and I haven't said it in public because I don't think it's very effective. But clearly, what is happening is fascism. Like, it's just they're changing the definition of words. At my board of education, the leader of the movement, if you will, said, when you hear diversity, equity, inclusion, that is CRT. That, of course, has come from on high with this guy, think tank guy, who came up with this whole scheme. That's happening in every county. And so I have decided I'm the person that is going to meet him everywhere he goes. Facebook, the Board of Education meeting. And I have parodied him. I have ridiculed him. And guess what else I've done? Built a relationship with him where I text him and try to meet him where I can. But he's a fireman in New York City, and I wish you all could see what's happening in my community. It's been wild. But he keeps posting on Facebook all these crazy things about CRT in schools. So I wrote a long post in response, John. I said, the irony of a fireman calling out flames that don't exist has never lost on me. And he still continues to text me. So it's all I'm trying to say is, if you're really worried about fascism and you're not at least paying attention to what's happening in your town, then you're part of the problem. And I just can't help getting out of that. The first time I heard Martin Luther King, that quote about the white, I'm paraphrasing. I'm paraphrasing King, if you don't mind. By the way, before I paraphrase King, the Shopify is a great online store. So King said something about the moderate, right? As anybody knows the quote or has the quote, he's more concerned about the moderate than like the KKK, you know? Because we don't and as soon as he said that, as soon as I heard that quote, I remember where I was. I remember exactly where it was. I was like, he's talking about me. He's definitely talking about me. And I just live with that kind of guilt. And I was like, I'm not going to be. So as we've seen, like, history repeat itself, I decided, well, I know what role I want to play. And it's of one of the three guys who gets shot in Mississippi. So, folks, this is my last broadcast because these people are fucking crazy. They're coming. But I've used everything I can to confront them as politely, by the way, as possible while building relationships. And I would argue that we've had some wins. It's working. It really is working because these guys were going unchallenged. I highly recommend you get involved in your local community and challenge these people at every point. Now I'm done talking.
After my negative comments, I'm writing 30 of my Wyoming legislators right now about Medicaid expansion. And since we had the option, we've turned down something like $1 billion in federal aid.
Yep.
People have been dying
Free
for
money.
lack of access to health care in Wyoming.
Free money.
And we, as a rural place, are losing clinics and hospitals in places because they're uncompensated. And these guys oppose it because Obama supported it. That's why they oppose it. They have no reason to oppose. And I'm writing them right now. And it looks like we might actually be able to get this thing through in the coming year. But I hate to be optimistic, but nevertheless.
Bill Round always bringing that Christmas cheer.
Yeah, really.
I mean, did y'all hear Manchin? What did he say yesterday about him just not giving a fuck? I'm like, 40% of your fucking people in your state have no teeth. What the fuck you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like
26%.
It's actually, it's 26.
Yeah, 26%.
26%. It's all the same.
Which is why
Ty,
which is why again I hate to do this, but the quip.
I want to talk to Derek's baby.
This relates to your. This relates to
Abigail may have more to say.
This relates to your sponsor, Pete. Ty, do you realize? You know why that the toothbrush was invented in West Virginia? You know that, right?
No, I did not.
Because if it was invented anywhere else, it'd be a teeth brush.
Oh, Mindy, I see that, Mindy. I see it, Mindy. Yeah, that is. What's that, Pete Coat?
Nothing.
Oh, anyway, yeah, very. Why did I get interrupted? Oh, yes. Sorry, Carrie.
I wanted to interview Derek's baby, but I also want to talk to Abigail Hummel.
Okay, so Carrie
and see what she has to say.
Carrie often jumps in and co-hosts, and he's always reliable.
I'm a non sequitur.
Yeah, yep. Go ahead.
I like to go on tangents.
Yeah, but Carrie, have you been interviewed by Abigail Hummel?
I have not.
Oh, I've had that pleasure. It's a really fun way to spend 5 fucking hours on a Sunday.
I don't have that kind of time. I've got
yes, you do. Yes, you do.
All right, everybody calm down.
How long did it take you to put together that Masterpiece Theater mantle behind you? That took at least 4.5 hours.
Go ahead, Carrie. No, go ahead, Carrie.
20. No, when did we move here? 84. So I don't know. What is that? 30.
Are you broadcasting from the set of Clue?
Yeah, no, it's a Norman Rockwell piece that's coming out on Lifetime next week.
All right, go ahead. You take over, Carrie.
I'd like to talk to Abigail. Although Derek, your baby's adorable.
Quickly,
I don't think she has a lot to say.
Please go to the baby, then the Barry and
all right, baby. What is Derek doing to you? And do you blink twice if you need help?
This is the best baby interview of a baby I think I've ever seen. You know, John Donvan worked at Nightline for years. I don't know if you've ever seen a more riveting interview of an infant. No, he says no.
The baby just did this. Can somebody intervene?
That's a call for help, right? That's the international.
That is, that's domestic abuse.
Whose baby is that, Derek?
Is that even your baby?
No, it's my son.
It's a little boy. Congratulations. That looks like a very new human. What do we got?
She's 5 months old.
Oh my God. Carrie, go ahead. Any other questions?
Have we moved on to solid food yet?
He had mashed potatoes at Thanksgiving.
Amazing.
Mixed with formula.
Amazing. With an extra helping of gravy, I assume.
No gravy yet.
No gravy.
I wouldn't want to touch that diaper.
Oh boy. Already looks like gravy.
By the way, there's sorry, I gotta be your Ed McMahon. Hey, Derek, how about this Carrie? Clearly, he's never had a kid. He'll give a kid a gravy. All right, Carrie, go ahead. Abigail and Barry are here.
Abigail, what is it like to perform and broadcast with your father? The generation separates you, but you obviously have amazing commonalities. What is it like to put a show on with your dad?
It's really cool. It's nice to have sort of like structured time to talk to him, because if I just call him randomly, like we'll end up talking about nothing for a very long time, and that's not very productive.
And that's my fault.
Yeah, he's a talker. So it's nice to have like something to talk about, but that can lead us off into conversations about kind of real things and like our lives and our emotions and stuff that we probably wouldn't broach otherwise. So it's been really, really nice. And I sort of wish I had something like this with everyone in my life, but I'll settle for it being just my dad for now. And our guests, of course.
So in case
that's amazing. I'm sorry. I'm taking over.
Yeah, well, plug the podcast, rookie.
Yeah. So Pops on Hops, that can be found wherever podcasts are found, features
Indeed.
Barry Hummel and his lovely daughter Abigail, where they discuss beer and other things. Hence the hops.
They've also
how much does he talk about marathons? And now I'll hand it back to Pete Dominic.
On the podcast or in real life? Both are
in real life.
extreme.
I'll take my answer off the air.
Is it true, Abigail? Is it true? And this has been my experience, that if you want to hear your dad talk about marathons, you just say, "Hey."
Yes. It's
like he's a vegan.
It's sometimes not even like you don't even have to initiate it, because he will usually be wearing a shirt that he got at a marathon in any situation.
Is it true that your dad recently went to a funeral where a colleague had passed away and he talked to the dead body about a marathon that he'd recently done?
Well, in my defense,
but he did wear a T-shirt that said 26.2.
Yeah. It was a black T-shirt. We'll give him that, though.
Pops on Hops. And Matt, who's chiming in, Matt Carlson, has been on the show. Pete Coe has contributed to the show. I played a segment on the show, and Pops on Hops has inspired me to start doing a segment with my almost 17-year-old Ava, because we're trying to find out ways to get her into college. John, she wants to go to Georgetown, and I told her, you're not good enough. But, you got to get something going, She's got perfect grades. She's got the honors classes, but she's not doing it. She needs those things, those extracurriculars, those extras. And so I'm inspired by you guys, and we're going to start doing a segment. We just don't know what we're going to talk about yet that would be of any interest to anyone.
Well, Pete, if you want to promote that segment, I can have you on Pops on Pops with Ava, and we can have Ava pick an album you know nothing about, and I'll pick a beer you know nothing about, which would be pretty easy.
Yeah, I don't want to. No. And I'm always.
We won't have beer. We won't have beer.
I'm always an excellent guest because I'm amazingly talented, but those are the two topics that I'd least like to talk about. Music.
That's why it's fun.
Your podcast is about.
Barry, I volunteer to talk about beer.
Yeah.
I volunteer.
Music and
the beer and the music are a package deal, unfortunately.
Well, Bill can put he can send in a jukebox thing.
Perfect.
I can.
So yes,
you'd be happy with that side too.
I'll send you a link, Bill. There's a place to submit an album idea for what we're calling the virtual jukebox, and we're going to randomly pick albums and have the third wheel in the.
Listen, if you'll allow, I don't even know what's happening, but if you'll allow me to produce a segment where I talk about U2's Joshua Tree and Michelob Ultra, then we can start to.
He said "Unforgettable Fire" when we were talking about this with Matt Carlton during the 5-hour interview.
Oh boy.
We said you would submit, if you were picking an album, we'd pick the Unforgettable Fire. But okay. Joshua Tree, okay, that's what I figured.
I
didn't even drink Michelob Ultra when I was in high school because I knew how shitty it was.
No, that's because
I couldn't. It didn't exist.
They didn't have Michelob Ultra.
But I didn't drink Michelob because people would be like, "Can I buy that for you?" I was 15 and I was like, "I'm not drinking that piss."
I just saw the way. Are y'all talking about best U2 albums?
No, nobody's.
Hey, it's Octoon Baby.
Nobody's talking. No. Nobody's talking. Nobody's talking about music here. Nobody was talking about music here. You should listen.
This isn't your show anymore.
Nate,
I will tell you though that the best time to drink best time.
Ultraviolet, Light My Way, which is my favorite U2 song of all time. Come on now, The Fly. What are we doing here?
I would say that the best time to drink a Michelob Ultra is right after you finish a marathon.
Is that right?
It's the best. And it's usually in the morning. So that's really weird.
I drink them during workouts. Is that strange?
I just want to point out that I'm drinking a beer with Tom Petty on the can.
Wow.
Tom Petty, hometown hero, my hometown.
So the first concert I ever went to in my life was Tom Petty, Full Moon Fever. The Heartbreakers were all there, is my understanding. Now, it's also true that the reason I got to go to that concert is because I'm corrupt. I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. It'll be try to get it over in 1 minute, and then you can judge me all you want. Now, to be fair, this was 16-year-old Pete Dominic. I was student government vice president. I was involved in everything in high school. Never missed a day. Not one day. Also didn't have a drink in high school. Killing Brady. So, new kid comes to school. This kid was like Pete Dominic 2.0. I was like, what the fuck? Get out of my lane, motherfucker. I'm Ferris Bueller. You can't be. And he was. Slick dude, likable, much more handsome than me, tall, everything. He butted me out. Comes up to me. He's been there for a week. He goes, "You're doing the raffle today for those Tom Petty concert tickets?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "What do you mean?" At lunch, I do a raffle. You spin the thing and you pull a name out. He goes, here's the deal. This kid had been in the school for a week. He goes, "Pull my name out." I go, "What do you mean? How am I going to know why would I do that first? And how am I going to know which one is yours?" He goes, "It doesn't matter whose name you pull out. When you pull it out, just say my name." I go, "Why would I do that?" He goes, "Because if you do, you'll be my guest at the concert." And I did it. And I enjoyed that concert. and I'll never forgive myself for that corrupt move. But it was an amazing concert. And
I would have done the same thing. Most people wouldn't have appreciated it.
Yep. I'll never forgive myself for that. Oh my God, everybody just started canceling subscriptions and dropping off the Zoom. Folks, I was 16. I've just been canceled. Come on. Somebody else admit something more corrupt that they did when they were a student government vice president to make me feel better. By the way, if anybody has any suggestions as to what 16-year-old Ava should get involved with to get into Georgetown, you let me know, because we'll get wrapped up.
She considered having really rich parents.
That helps, for sure.
Pete, somebody did that for me with a raffle. When I was in college, I was dating a guy who was a bartender or a manager of actually the Limelight. And they had a raffle for Transylvania 65000. And they were giving away a ticket to, it was Norway. And I was a naive dumbass. And he's telling me, fill these tickets out. So I fill them out. I hand them to him. A few minutes later, my name gets pulled. And I'm like, I'm not going to Europe with you. I don't know you. Gave it to my parents. Best gift I ever gave them.
Wow. Okay. That's not nearly as bad as what I did. I mean, come on. Someone's indicting you for that.
I used it to my advantage, but
I didn't. By the way, who are you wearing tonight?
Modeling the moose hat.
Oh, okay. All right. I like that moose hat. Very nice. Well, everybody, what else do we have for you? Tonight? Any other surprises? Are we still hanging out? Anybody else have any good news? Anybody else want to talk about? Is there any issues that we missed this week? Is there any ideas? Are there any Christmas stories? Tomorrow is Christmas Eve. My plan, by the way, and I will mention this. I think I'm going to play this Hangout on. I'm just going to let it ride and put it on. John, can I include your portions tonight? I've recorded them. Thank you. That's amazing. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you. I'm going to play it tomorrow, but we are scheduled to go into New York City. So I'm planning to get COVID and apparently give it to my parents on Christmas morning. So I'm planning to give my parents the great gift of COVID because my wife is devastated that I don't want to go into New York City, and she has beaten me into submission. She's so brokenhearted. And so I said, listen, whatever, let's go. And so I'm going, and hopefully I'll save the marriage and my parents won't die. Talk to me, check in with me Wednesday next week, I think is really where I need, what would you say, if everybody's okay Wednesday next week. It's a weird thing. Some people are done. There's a breaking point, right? And a lot of them are physicians, from what I can tell. So, that's my story, and it's I'm sticking to it. Any thoughts? Check in with me on Wednesday.
Hey man, I got 5 boxes of 10 test kits today in Vermont. They were just giving them out, 5 boxes. Our family got. I can mail you one if you want.
Yeah, I'll take it.
No, just get tested while you're there.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in New York, they just go on the phone.
There's pop-ups everywhere in New York.
Oh yeah. I will get tested. But what different, and then we'll go to dinner, and then we'll get COVID, and we'll bring it back and give it to my parents for Christmas. Listen, Taint Week is going to be quite a ride. That's all I'm telling you. Next week is Taint Week, and John Donovan is just horrified. By the way, John wrote me the most amazing email of advice, and it's like he says he loves the news segment. But didn't you say something like now I stopped? I don't know if you noticed, but your email made me stop calling people assholes. I'm like, this asshole, Ron DeSantis. That's your fault, by the way. You're making me step it up a little bit. I feel like
Ron DeSantis is an asshole.
I know, and I want to say it, but John's I don't know if I feel like you said something in that email that I maybe I should step it up, but.
Did you want him to call him a fucking asshole, John? Because that's what he is.
Okay, so this is what people want.
It was kind of in a more neutral direction.
This is what the people want, because they want me to display their own emotions through me, and he is in fact a son of a bitch.
But that business model is what Fox News is all about.
That's right. That's right. Now we're talking.
He's a cloaca. That'll work across a species.
Cloaca, I think it is. And Tom and Leslie can chime in if they would like.
You can share that email if you want. I know you would ask me about it. But
really?
Yeah.
You told me not to, and so I decided not to.
Okay, then never mind.
I don't know.
Maybe I was wiser at the time.
Cloaca. Are we discussing the inner ear now?
Yes, the cloaca is a part of a chicken, I believe, isn't it?
It's not part of the inner ear, though. It's a part of the digestive tract, I think.
Oh, I'll listen to this guy, physician.
Well, it's
always good when reproductive.
It's always good when the doctor says,
Barry Hummel. It's the end of the digestive tract.
I remember things like about 60% correct. So don't quote me. I'm in the ballpark, right?
They call it a practice.
I need my Google expert to look it up.
Let's not, folks. I'm recording this. Let's not talk over each other. Let's not.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was confusing the cochlea with the cloaca.
Yes, you were.
Way to make it.
I just got dizzy. Excuse me.
I get real uncomfortable. Yeah.
Interestingly enough, I broke my coccyx. I broke it.
How did?
That's not.
Will. Hey, Will. Take 30 seconds to tell your.
Dad.
Who was that? His kids.
That's Fiona.
His kids. He has Will lives in a shoe and has several children. Will, take 30 seconds to tell the story of your spine.
I don't have a cool story. I just woke up with pain, and then it took a couple years, and I have this spinal cord injury disease where I have the same thing as a spinal cord injury. It's right in between T8 and T12, but I don't have a cool story. I didn't do anything awesome. I was just an average.
Will, could you do something really funny and yell, "Shut the fuck up! I'm talking about my spinal cord disease."
So disappointed that you weren't on that wall.
They don't care about that at all. Graham doesn't care about it. Fiona, they don't care. See, they don't care.
We care. We care about your spinal cord.
You're talking about.
But that was the best thing ever, though, was them and my wife were every day kept moving the family forward. And I got my shit figured out and caught up to them. And so we didn't lose any time or miss anything. I'm the dumbest, luckiest fool.
No, I thought he was just naming Terminator sequels. T8, T12, what?
Thank you, Will. I'm glad you shared that. I feel like I'm the only one who knew that about you, and you show up here week after week, and I think that's a super important part of your story that people might want to hear. And we're psyched to have you as part of our community. And you're fucking 80 kids. It sounds like there's 80 of them every time.
It feels like it every day.
How many?
There's 4, but they're 12, 10, 6, and 5. So we've been in the shit while locked in the shit, which has been challenging.
Are they all right there?
All the time, 24/7. There's usually one leaning on me at all hours.
Yell the name of your favorite.
Oh, right now, whichever one's closest to me.
Right.
So I'd probably say Fiona.
Okay, well.
See, it's smart strategy.
Yeah, that's good.
I've thought this out a little bit.
Well played, Will. Well played. And of course, willpower, it's not the Formula One driver. It's not the Formula One driver. A lot of people may be confused. I interviewed that guy. Yeah, for about 5 minutes, and it was the worst 5 minutes of my life.
Yeah, he's kind of slow, no personality.
Let's have fun. Can we have a little fun? Brian Castor, can we have a little fun? Can we? Will you can you give me a Christmas present? Brian Castor.
A Christmas present?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have much for you, but I'll drop this one on you.
Well, what I'm looking for is just real quick. I mean, what I'm looking for is we went to grammar school and high school together. We've known each other most of our lives, you and I.
Yep.
You've been a generous supporter of mine. Now, whatever you were going to say, go ahead.
No, all right. I'll say it just quick because it surprised me a little bit. You've got a crew that kind of talks about things, but I was just on the phone with my family, and my sister and my family lives in Maryland, and they're like, they were going to get together for Christmas, but with the Omicron virus, like they canceled their plans. And my sister had made a whole bunch of crab cakes. And I'm like, oh, cool. I'm like, oh, somebody's like, oh, what did you say? And she said crab cakes. I'm like, crab cakes and football. That's what Maryland does. And she goes to me, she goes, oh, Brian, by the way, that's really not a popular movie anymore because of it's all about womanizing, and people have can't kind of canceled it. We don't quote from that anymore. And I'm like, really? I'm like, that's one of them too, huh? So have you heard that at all?
What movie?
Wedding Crashers.
Oh, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
You don't?
Listen. Would you please?
Mom, can we get some fucking meatloaf in here?
There you go. That guy does.
Yep.
Would you please just tell a high school story?
Oh, you hit it pretty well with that one where you just ran train on everybody to get to that Tom Petty concert. I can't top that one.
You were there. Brian Castor, this guy right here we're talking to, was the quarterback of the football team. He was considered one of the, and continues to be considered one of the hottest guys, one of the studliest guys. He has become one of the most deep thinking. The thing that bothers me about him is that he's a great athlete, he's great looking, and he's profoundly thoughtful person. And I don't know about his dick, but I imagine it's perfect. Huh?
It's half the size of yours.
Okay, well, anyway, listen, I'll say something, you can react whatever you want to it. I never missed one day of high school. Go ahead.
I don't think I did either.
Is that right?
Something, I don't brag about that. We hung around with people that didn't miss high school. Although you hung out with the skateboarding crew, they were probably maybe smoking pot and missing school, but.
Yeah, well, as you know, I was a social butterfly. Yes, they were my core crew, the skateboarding crew. But at the same time, I was involved with all the rest of the organized cliques.
Hey, Pete.
Yep. Yeah, you were friends with everybody.
Carrie?
My mom's here.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Here, you want to sit down?
Holy shit. Ladies and gentlemen. Carrie's mom. Do we have a jingle for her, Gareth? Holy cow.
I'm writing one right now, Pete.
Okay, Matt, thank you. Carrie's mom. Wow, look, can we get a tighter shot? Look at her.
Your son is the best. We love your son.
Oh, so do I.
Now, Carrie.
He's a great guy. He helps out a lot.
Yeah, he certainly does. Carrie's mom. Carrie, what can we say? I mean, you've told us a lot, and I feel like you violated her privacy. I don't want to do that to her, but I mean, she's.
Well, I've been away for the last couple of weeks as she's been convalescing from her knee surgery, which you all know. And in the time that I've left, she's now going up and down full sets of staircases, and she appears to be doing amazingly well. So she can speak for herself. I won't throw her under the bus.
Do you want to just ask her a couple quick questions? Weeks ago, and 2 weeks in a row, Carrie interviewed his father, who is an African-American Vietnam veteran, and his career was working in...
He was an electrical engineer.
IBM.
And then now we're talking to Carrie's mother, who apparently is a white woman who married a black man in what year?
1969. So my mom was a mathematician who also worked for IBM, and she essentially gave up her career to raise my sister and I because they were worried about how we would be treated as interracial children and like in daycare programs and stuff. So she's an incredibly intelligent woman who had a mathematics background and was not a secretary at IBM. She was not that I don't denigrate administrative assistants, but she was a programmer.
It certainly sounds like you do.
Yeah. Fuck you, secretaries.
Well, my brother, when he applied to IBM, he said he had a sister who worked for IBM, and they assumed I was a secretary.
Oh, well, that sounds like the height of sexism. But let's get right to the point. Do you regret Carrie?
No.
Okay. What about your daughter?
No.
How on earth did you do what you did at that time in the world, and why? You fell in love with this man.
You felt you could give fingers to anybody. We, on our honeymoon, I'll be in a minute. On our honeymoon, do
you have another Zoom to go to?
No, that is adjacent and going to bed and indicating he was going up the stairs.
Tell him we're doing a concert and to come on over as she tells.
Hey, come on over, real quick, Dad. Right, just come say hi. Just a real quick cameo.
Mrs. Williams, again, what did you say? We gave the finger. What was that?
Oh, well, on our honeymoon, we were strolling around Manhattan, and a couple that looked like they came from the middle of the country went, and pointed at us, this woman. So to be nice, I turned around and sort of said very loudly to the people on the street, look at them. And everybody could tell they didn't belong in New York, and they ran away.
You shamed middle Americans visiting New York because they pointed at you for being in a, quote, interracial
I also
marriage.
gave the finger to a station wagon full of nuns.
Why?
Because they were giving us the evil eye.
So you, again, just to be clear, when did you get married?
69.
Do you want to share with us?
It wasn't legal in all states.
It wasn't even legal to be married to, is that right?
In other states. We've got married in New York.
When did Loving, when did that case pass? Loving versus Virginia, right?
Yeah. I think it was that year.
Loving was like a year or two earlier, but it still wasn't accepted in most states.
You diving into the microphone is something that listeners can't see, but it was unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Williams now joining us. Sir, it's great to have you leaning in, but your bride has the spotlight tonight. We've given you more than enough respect.
Well, Carrie will have to walk behind me up the steps because I'm not allowed to do that by myself.
Is that because of the drinking?
No, it's because of the surgery and the surgeon.
Uh-oh. Was there a mistake?
I don't drink, by the way, and I don't smoke.
Oh, what's this about? Well, you don't sound...
But I do.
You don't sound like much of...
I curse a lot.
Edibles?
Carrie's mom.
Gareth is writing a jingle.
She doesn't take any shit from anyone. Oh, Carrie's mom.
God damn it, Gareth.
In other states, not her own. Carrie's dad. Look at the life he had. There's nobody quite like Carrie's dad.
Very good.
Wow.
God. Thank you, Gareth.
And his daughter is dancing in the background. What an amazing moment. Folks, you're missing out if you're not joining us. All right. Thank you, Gareth. That was wonderful. Matt, you got to be quicker. Carrie's mom, Mrs. Williams. Mrs. Williams. Carrie, could you please tell your dad he looks like an extra on the set of Benson?
I don't do.
He's the stand-in for when they're shooting the reverse shot.
I don't do tables.
All right.
Windows, though.
Carrie, you're way better at interviewing your parents than I am. Please ask her. You just share with us something profound.
Okay. Would you care to explain the birthday rat?
Oh, the birthday rat was arranged probably when Carrie was 4, because like a birthday, once they open the presents, shot to hell, you know? So I decided I would buy little things, wrap them and hide them around the house. And you would say, I think I heard something in the living room. And even if it was a toothbrush, they'd be... So I had both kids running around the house on their birthdays. They come home from school and I'd say, "Ooh, I thought I heard something in the kitchen." And they go nuts to get whatever. It didn't matter too much. You know what I mean? Little stuff was like, so their birthday went all day.
And the
That's
giver of
really
the gifts
cool.
was the birthday rat. Oh, there's
That's great.
Tom and Leslie from Noble Pies. Noble Pies, everybody. The best pies in New York.
NoblePies.com. Visit them at their new location in Rye, New York. NoblePies.com. Warwick, New York, and now in Rye, New York, and soon in Beijing, China, because they're taking over the world. These two kind-hearted, local, farm-like folks are pure and unadulterated, ruthless capitalists. They will sell their pie to oligarchs in Russia for the right price. And then also, I should mention, Tom also came to my house and helped build the shed. Not two listeners did, and I still have his tools.
Yes, you do. Pete, I got something to say about Tom and Leslie.
Uh-oh. And Tom, did you get my instant message? Did you get my chat message?
No, I didn't see it. Sorry.
Vicky is looking to connect with you. I need your email. You must email me. I tried for half an hour to find your goddamn contacts, and I failed.
All right, I'll send it to you.
Okay, go ahead.
But Tom and Leslie, I tried to order I think it was a cherry pie or something from you for Thanksgiving a couple of years ago. And Tom told me, you know what? You don't want to order a pie from me because by the time it gets to Florida, it's going to turn to shit. So, so he refused to sell me a pie, and I love him ever since.
Well, that is a sweet, sweet story, but that is and at noblepies.com. Quickly, though, back to Mrs. Williams. Carrie?
It's called Florence in this world.
Okay, you want me to refer to you as Florence?
That's better, yeah.
You smoke weed?
No.
Okay.
Never did.
Okay. No.
I used to drink like a fish, but you know.
Yeah. You stopped.
Stop.
What do you got now? What brings you joy?
Quilting. I make quilts.
Could you
but she was a quilter pre-drinking and through drinking and post-drinking. So that's not something she just found and discovered.
Let her have the microphone.
The drinking went away a decade ago.
I started quilting because when he stopped nursing, I went into postpartum dumper. So my husband said, "You're free. You can go someplace." And he said, "What did you ever want to do?" I said, "I wanted to learn to quilt." But through the tears, he signed me up for a class, and I haven't ironed anything but fabric since. Through those wrinkles, you know?
Williams family is the best fucking thing I've ever gotten out of this podcast. Ever.
Yeah.
I have a question. May I ask Mrs. Williams a question?
It's Florence.
Which era of your quilting was your best? Was it your pre-drinking era? Was it your drinking era? Or was it your post-drinking?
No. Now, I don't do like tricky quilts, but I push them so that if my motto is if they don't clash, they're fine. You know.
What about
I push it?
Have you ever done psychedelics, ayahuasca?
No.
Okay.
Nothing.
Just asking.
Yeah. I'm on painkillers now.
Well, now we're talking.
Now I'm talking. I thought that would make somebody happy in the world. No, I do it because I've been a couch potato for
what do we have? New knee, right?
Wow. Yeah.
Another nice quilt. Another if you wouldn't mind, Ty, I know you've got a question for Florence. I know you want to. I know you want to get in here. What do you want? What do you want to say? Go ahead.
I love her.
Yeah.
I'm just listening, and she's wonderful.
Yeah.
No question.
Okay.
You don't know me that well, then.
Listen to her. Listen to me. How would you, given the last 12 minutes that we've gotten to learn your personality, and that we've gotten to learn your husband's personality, How long have you been married, and how on earth, given both of you being so hilarious and powerful and thoughtful, how does that work? Why do you even love each other?
I think because we like each other so much.
You do.
I think like is the thing that keeps things together, because when the shit hits the fan, it's hard to be in love. But if you always like this person, that won't happen. But it's
Right
52 years. Bliss, give or take a decade.
Florence, I have a question, if I may. Sure. So you had this interracial marriage in the late 60s at a time where it was somewhat taboo. What was the reaction between your family and your husband's family like when that happened, and did it change over time?
Yeah, my mother wasn't real. My father died when I was 15. My mother wasn't really happy, and she met Carv's parents at the wedding, and I see the mothers are sitting together discussing the fact that both of us got in trouble for talking in class. So I thought, well, they're okay. And my in-laws, because my husband had been engaged and, all other crap. He was 26, but his history was much murkier than mine. In fact, he was engaged when he met me. They thought, he probably, I don't know if this wedding's going through. So my mother-in-law had a dress for a cruise, and she said, at least it won't be wasted. So she wore that to the wedding. It's a lovely dress. And, once we had children, even though, oh my God, interracial kids, my mother was like, wham, grandchildren. And the first Thanksgiving, we're all at the table, and, she was in the crib sleeping for 10 minutes. That was her most. And she went, wham, wham. My mother pops up and says, I said, Ma, I'll get her. Eat your food. It's hot. And my mother goes, I love cold turkey and gravy. And I thought, no, you don't. But she tootled down the hall and got Becky. So, yeah.
That's a wonderful story. Also, I do think, people very racist and bigoted about, mixed race people. But given, I've seen a picture of your daughter, but I mean, Carrie, come closer to the camera. I mean, like, I don't know, like, it's a beautiful, it's a beautiful person you made,
Cute.
Yes,
mixed race people are, you get your Mariah Carey.
His mama, though.
You
can see he looks like his mama.
He smiles.
I think Pete's just being super sympathetic.
Yet, no color.
Pete's being super sympathetic because Carrie's bald too.
No. You don't even notice that he's bald because his bone structure and his skin.
He's a beautiful man.
He is a good-looking guy.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah. He also is very talented and kind and interesting and unique and thoughtful and funny. And what I'm trying to say, folks, is we brought you here tonight because Carrie and I are running away together. I love
my dreamboat.
Is that you're big enough?
We're gonna take that Chevy Volt and ride off into the sunset.
Yeah. The worst.
Better car.
It won't go very far.
That's fine.
One of the most.
You have. I mean, if you're going to run away in the sunset, have like an old Cadillac or something.
No. So Carrie came to my show a couple weeks ago. He came down. He's taking care of his mom, and he comes. I was doing stand up, and he came down, and I met him in person for the first time, and he gave me a gift. And it was based on something I mentioned at one point that I wanted, which was Old Navy pajamas that were Black Santa on them. And because a person of color gave them to me, I'm allowed to wear them. Anywho, so after the show, he
you have
was
a sign you wear when you wear them?
What?
You have a sign you wear when those pajamas saying a black person gave it to me, so it's okay?
Nice.
Said
nice.
Need approval.
Well said, Mama.
No. I just wear them and then tell you guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I should. You're right, though. I should Instagram that. So Carrie's
Christmas card.
That's not a bad idea. It's called the 12 Days of Virtue. So I say to Carrie, "Hey man, where are you parked?" He's like, "Oh, I'm parked around the other side of the mall." So I was like, "I'll drive you to your car." So I get him in my 2011 Chevy Volt, with 700,000 miles on it, and I drop, and he's like, "This is me," and he gets into like the DeLorean from Back to the Future or some I don't even know what he was driving, but he just pulled off like I'm not even kidding you. Carrie gets in whatever the car he drives. He listens to me, he supports me, and I fucking drive him over in this piece of junk. I drop him off in his car, and I'm not even lying to you. He flew up into the air and flew away. He flew off into the distance in his car. And he screamed, ho, 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 I'm Black Santa, which really fucked with me.
Well, he's half,
He what?
I muted her. She had a comment. Go on.
He's half and half.
I didn't say. You said that. You said that. Too bad.
I'll have to buy my son Black Santa pajamas.
Well, I'm not sure you're allowed.
Oh.
The weird thing is I felt weird about buying a Christmas gift for another man that I barely know, and I kind of didn't tell these guys what I was doing, and I snuck off to Old Navy that morning and bought those pajamas and then went upstairs and surreptitiously wrapped them with half my usual flair. I didn't want to go overboard with my wrapping style.
Yeah.
A beautiful
and then
package.
I delivered to them to you at the Nyack Mall, where you unfurled them in front of Megan. And
I have to say, Carrie, I would hire you to wrap gifts any day of the week. It was beautiful.
Dude brings shame to what's her name? The lady who Martha Stewart. Sorry. Thank you. You know who I'm talking about, Carrie. Your husband has your son has 7 aprons. He can do anything. He can make anything. It was a wonderful gift. And Megan was there. It was hilarious. And they're very comfortable. I feel bad about wearing Old Navy, but that's on you. But
I'm a big fan of fast fashion.
Yeah. The pajamas. The irony is the pajamas were built by a child in Thailand, but
probably a 3-year-old.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, what else was I going to say about? I don't know.
Hey, I got a second installment.
Nice. All right, everybody, hold on.
Gareth.
Hold on. Mic's off if you can, because I don't want you to cut out. I want to share this. Mic's off if you can. Go ahead.
Just call me Florence. I used to drink like a fish. She dropped the bottle, went full throttle on the needle. She's a quilting fiend. She's on the painkiller she needs. She's got a new need taken care of by Carrie. Oh, Florence, don't give up. That's all I got. All right.
That was amazing, Gareth. Thank you.
Addicted to heroin. That's crazy.
Thank you.
Well done, sir.
Special.
We
Every time I think I'm going to do a jingle, Garrett's got to come in and make me feel like a piece of shit.
Wow.
We should send the Oxy to him.
No.
Wow.
My doctor gave me Oxy, and I haven't used it.
Oxy, no, don't use Oxy. It's terrible. Oxy's terrible.
Yeah.
No,
well,
stay away.
It is really bad news, and I highly recommend you sell it on the street. The value is skyrocketing right now because of fentanyl. So you can make some good cash on the street, and if you don't want to, send it my way because we'll invest right back here.
Feel terrible. You don't like it. You don't like
Tom, you're not the normal.
He will use them to help get his daughter into Georgetown.
Yes, thank you, Christine. You got to find a way. And Tom is like, oh, don't use Oxy. Dude cuts off his thumb like every other week and just like walks it off. So I'm not sure exactly you're the case study we're looking for, Tom.
Oh, I have one of them around.
Yeah.
Hey, Pete, can I jump in and talk about a Christmas gift I got for my children?
I appreciate you asking if you can jump in is weird.
It is weird because I just jump in all the time.
That's right.
So my children are 21 and 23, and for their stocking stuffers this year, got them weed gummies.
Oxycontin.
Got them weed gummies. Did not get them Oxycontin, Tom.
Okay.
Watched Dope Sick and decided that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Returned it, went back and used that money for weed gummies. And trying to figure out weed gummies, does that make me a terrible dad, the best dad, or both?
Well,
Yes.
no, come on.
Yes.
Will you adopt me, Matt?
Absolutely, Tina. Yes, yes.
It's a ridiculous.
You can be my same age stepchild.
It's a. Listen, I have spoken. It is.
I'm older.
My kids have some anxiety stuff and often don't sleep well like their old man. So clearly, this is all making sense. But whatever.
I mean, listen,
Tell them what it was.
I've got my obvious opinion about that. I think it's perfectly fine. But folks, let's go to our drug awareness correspondent, Florence. Florence, Matt got his grown children marijuana edibles. Would you like to cast judgment upon him?
Please do.
I give Pez dispensers.
Is there weed in the Pez?
No.
Oh.
Florence, I have really learned. I've learned to love you in the last 20 minutes, but I think you might be doing it wrong.
Yeah, well, I always got Pez dispensers when I was a kid. So these guys are in their 40s and they're getting Pez dispensers.
I still get a stocking every year. She's a bit of a goody two shoes, so please forgive me.
Get a stocking every year. I'm nearly 50, Carrie.
Who decorated that room, Florence? By the way, did you have anything to do with that, or did Martha Stewart carry?
No, this is all her. This is all her. As a matter of fact, I think the first time I ever emailed you, Pete, was maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, and you were talking about stockings, and I was like, I'm in my 40s, and my mom still sends me a stocking every year, and this is the woman, and this is her living room.
It's amazing.
You should bring your stocking.
Florence, are you going to be able to get out tomorrow and get some edibles for Carrie for his stocking? Because
my child can find stuff.
He's doing just fine on his own.
He can just buy it on his own. I'm not getting arrested by some jackass,
You're in New York. It's legal.
Huh?
I said you're in New York. It's legal.
Oh, well.
Not yet.
I was going to play with the fireplace.
Well, oh my God, fire plugs. Are you frozen in 1950, Florence? Fire plugs, she said. I haven't heard that. Do you ride the
Fireplace.
IRT? You're
I have a fireplace, and Carrie's been burning it every night because he loves it.
Well, listen, I'm going to wrap this up. Before I go, I'm going to do a roundup. Just check if we haven't heard from anybody, you want to check in. We'd love to hear from you. Brady's out by the fire. Brady, good to see you, buddy. I think you just chimed in. What else? What's that, Tom?
Brother from North Carolina, Tyson.
Hello.
Yeah.
Wait, who are you there with, Brady?
My little brother from North Carolina, and he's about 14 years younger than me. We have different daddies, but the same mama, and he's a little more conservative than most of us, but he has an open mind. So I invited him to sit with us, and he's having a good time. He likes he loves comedy, so he enjoys Pete.
Oh, all right. Well, should we interview him, or do we not want to blow him? We don't want to cancel him. He may be a phys ed teacher.
Oh, you should definitely interview him.
Absolutely,
he's a funny guy.
Drinking.
So okay, we'll do a quick lightning round. What's his name? What's your name, sir?
Tyson.
Tyson?
Yes, sir. Pleasure to meet you.
You know what? Forget it. What kind of over masculine name is tight? Like, I think we're done. You know what I mean? It's like, oh really? I'm Frasier. He's already trying to alpha me. He's like, yeah, I'm Tyson, the boxer, the chicken. What do you need? All right, Tyson. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, just like my Brady here.
You grew up in the Pacific Northwest?
Yeah, I relocated somehow to the South. Now we spend Christmas together and drink on the porch.
Sounds like we know exactly why you've relocated to the South, Tyson. I'm just nothing. And a Confederate joke. I think that bombed. All right, Tyson. So, do you have a family?
At least one brother.
He is not married, has no kids.
Oh, is that right? How old are you, Tyson?
I'm 33.
Okay, all right. So there's still time. Do you want to have a family?
I think so. That's the goal. I'm pretty busy. It's hard to have that when I got the lifestyle.
Yeah, I'm sure you are busy, but well, I guess it's now time to tell you the reason why Brady brought you here. Okay. There's a certain lucky lady. That's about to join us. Brady, do you want to introduce her?
No.
Brady is definitely not in on this improv. That's for sure. Tyson, what do you do that keeps you so busy? Why are you so tied up with your work? And is it your identity? Your work?
Work is in large part my identity. I'm a photographer, so I work in NASCAR racing. So I'm on the road 36 weeks a year, following that deal around and telling those stories on digital and social platforms.
Let's go, Brandon, right?
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like one giant UGG from the peanut gallery over here.
So does it help if I'm drinking out of this?
What does that say?
Go Biden mug.
That's it. Okay, that's fine. So, just do you think? What do we want to ask Tyson? You are a photographer and you photograph auto racing, NASCAR auto racing.
That's correct.
That's a pretty great job, I would imagine. Like making money, taking pictures. A lot of people. I mean, your industry took a real hit. What with the iPhone?
Absolutely.
Right.
I used to be that guy. I used to be when I first started this social media stuff. I used to say, I can do everything with my iPhone. Why would I need to pick up a camera and figure it out and figure that thing out? But now that I've actually learned what an aperture is and an f-stop and all that stuff, I can't put the camera down. So I've completely transitioned.
Yeah. Where are you on fascism?
Firmly pro.
Nazis, good or bad, Tyson?
Are you vaccinated?
Do you believe in science? Let's cut to the chase. Do you realize that it's winter according to the meteorological clock? Let's cut to the chase. Where are you on gravity and the earth being flat or round? Let's get to it, Tyson. Come on, give me some lightning round of answers. Let's go.
I'm spherical on the earth. Gravity right now is debatable.
Fair enough. It's a fair answer, I think. Good answers. Well, Brady, we're psyched to have you hanging out with us. I'm not going to grill you anymore. You didn't come here to do that. This is Christmas. I hope you have an awesome time with Brady, who we absolutely love. Brady's been an integral part of our community. We love. He joins us almost every week, hangs out, and you can tell. Here's what you can tell about Brady just on Zoom. You can tell how good of a dad he is because when his is it Finley? When his daughter comes by, the blood comes back to his face, and you can see it. You can see him light up like a goddamn light bright from 1984. The both of you had it because you share a mom, and you didn't have a lot. You got a light bright, and that's what you did. You put those pegs in, and you decided, we have different fathers. My dad was better, but you know what? Regardless, in the end, you remain brothers, and you remain tight, and you love each other, and you're sharing Christmas, and you're a great goddamn uncle. And you're a great photographer, and we're psyched to have you as part of this community. And it's clear, based on your faces, who's better looking. We're not going to say, but we can tell. Yeah, it's definitely not Brady.
Yeah.
And Copernicus was a fraud.
Hey, are you going to be on next Thursday?
I hurt my shoulder.
Did he say?
Dude, did you just have a stroke? Did you have a stroke, Pete?
Why would you say that?
Because you were intense, man. You just kept talking. It was crazy. It was awesome. It was so good.
No, that's what I did. It's part of my act.
It was awesome.
Pete, at the beginning of the night, you said you had an announcement that wasn't really an announcement.
Oh yeah, I'm fully gay.
Oh, good. Okay. All right.
No, I thought you had an announcement.
Yeah.
Not just plumber gay, you're fully gay?
No, well, I'm fully gay.
Just plumber gay.
No, I'm fully gay.
Bringing it around.
No, Pete Coe and I are married.
That makes sense.
That's not gay. That's just love for sideburns and headphones.
Yeah. No, I went on.
Au contraire, mon frère.
I went on ConfederateSingles.com, and there I met him.
Confederate singles.
And he was like, dude, I'm not a Confederate. I just look like one. I live in San Francisco and sleep in a Murphy bed. I was like, you're the one for me. I don't know what I was talking about. I was just teasing something.
All about the Confederate dick pics.
He has dick pics with sideburns. It's really disgusting. Sorry, Florence. Sorry. Oh, I didn't realize you were still here, and I said dick pics.
She just send them along here.
What? Not particular.
He just asked. Jesus, you guys are close.
What about if they're solicited versus unsolicited?
We've got to take a break.
I have to think about it.
What if they come with sugar cookies?
Stop it!
Oh, yes.
The whip toothbrush.
Whip toothbrush. Feel the torque.
Oh, Pete Coe. Mom does you turmeric when she brushes her teeth.
Yes.
Does the what?
You said turmeric?
No.
Maybe I misheard you.
He said, feel the torque.
Oh, feel the torque. Well, she feels the torque and the turmeric, but I'm speaking for my mom now.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Good.
She's got a water pick, too.
Wow.
Oh, no, I have the
I wish I had one.
That's fancy.
You used to.
Buzz and then spits water into your teeth about 10 miles an hour.
Like mouth rain, basically.
Yeah, Bill Boyle, what's the inside scoop on
yes, mouth rain
and what's going on in
Yeah,
DC?
water pick is mouth rain. That's it. Sorry, what?
I said, what's the inside scoop on dental health care in DC?
Wait, what?
Pro Ukraine.
Yeah.
I said what's going on with dental hygiene in the District of Columbia
He's
area.
our DC. He's your DC correspondent apparently for everything.
Oh shit!
Apparently for
shit. Here comes Miss B Dancer.
Uh-oh. What do we got? By the way, Tom.
Oh my God.
Tom
Here
Herman.
she comes.
By the way, Tom
the
Herman.
one and only.
What up, people? How you doing?
Another Williams.
Merry fucking Christmas.
Another.
My dirty mouth. Dirty mouth. From her.
Wait. What did you say?
That's look-alike.
I want to get adopted by this family.
Hi.
This is Carrie's sister, everybody, and
she's probably drunk.
I am not. I just drove. I would never drive drunk.
Wait, what's your name?
Becky.
Hi, Becky.
Hi.
We've learned a lot about your parents over the last few weeks. What we haven't learned a lot about is Carrie.
Oh, what do you want to know?
We want an exclusive tonight, and is there anything you can give us that we
give us some shit?
Yeah, thank you, Matt.
He's the smartest one in the family. See, this is the thing I really suffer with insulting my brother.
Oh, that's too bad.
He's the smartest one in the family.
Yeah. Is it true? Is it true that he culturally appropriates a lot of different ethnic traditions, specifically, cooking?
Well, he's black, white, and Native American, so besides age and shit, he can kind of do whatever he wants, I think.
I only say that, and it's funny you bring it up. He was wearing one of those Japanese hibachi hats the other day, and I thought it was out of line.
He is definitely an Asian file. He definitely has a thing for the Asian ladies, especially if they're half white too. Let's put it out there. And an Asian and half white girl with big titties. Oh my goodness!
Now we are getting to it.
He manages to find like flat stomach girls with big asses and big boobs. I mean, he's
there.
Amazing.
You go.
He's really
on the back of that motorcycle.
Wow,
Carrie and I need a support group.
Wow.
We all do because Carrie's got it going on. He really does.
Becky. Wow.
Yes.
Jeez.
Am I not supposed to talk about my brother like this?
No, you are. Yeah.
Okay. What else do you want to know?
Nothing.
That you like girls with big titties, flat stomachs, big asses, half Asian,
So
half
how
white.
successful has he been with that cohort?
Very well. He's done very well.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. All right. Good.
Is there like a PowerPoint involved here that we can get, or what? What's going on?
Well, listen, folks.
Well, you got to kind of be him to start with, which, you know.
I
don't want to do that.
I gotta jump in and I gotta wrap this up because I gotta go post tomorrow's podcast. I almost feel like I should just share this entire thing as well. But the bottom line is no one can follow Becky. There's no reason to continue. There's nothing that can be better than what just happened. I've got
because I'm fucking awesome. I'm his older sister. So
loud.
Oh, hi.
Fucking
Hi, Ty. Hi, Ty. Ty. Hey, Ty. I don't care where Ty works.
Okay. Easy.
Hey,
easy.
have you ever considered
just fucking job? Hi, Ty.
Have you considered just walking out and letting the rest of us run this fucking hangout? We don't even need you at this point.
Becky, did you just say what kind of a job do you have, Ty?
No, someone else said.
I don't care.
She doesn't care. She saw that.
Matt, calm down, for God's sake, Matt. But
shut the fuck up, Pete.
Easy. Someone's been drinking.
Okay, I love you all. Here's my brother.
Becky, just I do want to let you know, Ty's job is wizard.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm kind of into Wiccan. Sorry, Mom, but so cool. We're good. Knock. I used to be Christian, but now I'm not. Oopsie, things you disclosed to your mom during a podcast. Earth. No, I'm not calling Manoa or anything. Don't worry about it.
Oh my God, she's hilarious.
Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Light as a feather, stiff as a board.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Williams family will be getting more jingles. That's for damn sure. I want to give it up for them. I want to give it up for Gareth's daughter, who I see, and everybody else. What a wonderful hangout. I wish you all the best. I've got to go share what just happened with everybody. If anybody has any problem with it, you better reach out to me quick, because that was gold, and it will be shared. Florence, Florence, you should expect to be canceled by midnight, and your future career endeavors are in trouble. But we appreciate the amazing love. So,
yeah. I think Ty is going to start something on Discord after this. Someone wants to have a drink after.
Oh, if anybody wants to hang out in the Discord platform, you can keep talking on Discord right now, video or whatever. That's great. Yeah, thank you for mentioning that.
We can do video on Discord?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, you can do shots on Discord. Come on, brother.
Oh, my God,
Becky. Where you been?
We're just about to.
Where have you?
I'll be over there. I don't know how to do it, but I'm going to figure that shit out.
Figure it out. And Becky, the question is, where have you been?
I went out to dinner with one of my friends. I was in Fishkill, New York. You know, the Mecca of Fishkill.
No, yeah. I don't mean where were you just now. I mean, where were you in the past of our lives?
My brother kind of keeps me away because I think I'm kind of embarrassing.
Oh, we think you're doing a comedy special.
I made Ty blush. I can see it. I love it.
I'm trying to get you an interview, so we can interview on and get you a weekly spot on the podcast.
Okay, cool. I'm expensive though.
See. All right, folks. We'll talk to your agent, Florence. How many quilts does it cost? Folks, I love you all. This was so much fun tonight. I hope you have a great time with your families, and I hope nobody gets sick. And specifically me, going into New York City tomorrow. It's great to see y'all. Pops on hops is all I have to say. And what a wonderful time. Thank you very much, Pete Dominic Punch. I'm out.
Pete Dominic Punch.
Merry Christmas.
I'm doing a Christmas set tomorrow night. If anybody wants to join, I'll drop it in the Discord.
There you go. Carrie, give it to me. Make sure you give it to me and remind me, and I'll put it out there and in different places too. Thank you very much, everybody. Amazing. And that, ladies and gentlemen, if you're still listening, is what it sounds like on our weekly hangouts. So that's all I've got. I can't believe you're still here. It was like 4 hours. Did you really listen? Okay. Well, Merry Christmas. I love you. Bye-bye.